Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is one of the toughest racetracks in North American motorsports. Over 2 miles in length, a new service this year, as well as the long-duration corners. This is a tough track to pass. Qualifying is obviously key at any time. Hello, race fans. My name is Rob Howden, and we are ready to go. Finally, some wheel-to-wheel racing here on a Friday at this fantastic Ohio racetrack. As you all know, USF Juniors getting pushed after some track repair in turn number 4. It will come after USF 2000. So the guy beside me will actually kick things off here in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing. Evagoras Papasavas on the pole here for USF 2000. Got your first USF 2000 win here last year. Pole right now. Momentum's in your corner right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling very good. P1 in practice as well. So P1 in every session today. So, just trying to replicate that in the race. Like you said, I did win here last year. So I know what it takes to win here. So I'm just going to try and replicate it, do the exact same thing, and hopefully, start my forward momentum this season to start moving up the ranks in the championship.
You've had a great start to the season. Obviously, some ups and downs, right? The big run at the start. You were on the podium for the first 4 races. Then you were on the, top 5 for the first 5 or 6. Then a couple issues not of your own doing. How do you work on that mentally to be able to keep yourself where you need to be and come to a track that could be the turning point of the season for you?
Yeah, I know that I have good pace here and I like this track, so I was looking forward to this race, and hopefully this is the event where we can flip the switch, kind of flip the momentum into our direction. Like you said, after all the difficulties, and it is a big mental toll. So winning here, it would mean a lot. Arguably, probably even more than my very first win of the season. Sorry, not of the season, but of my career. To win here would be great. After all of the trials and tribulations that we've had before. We just have to see what's going to happen, and I'm going to be giving it my all.
Oh, we had talked about it after every one of those podiums, right? You're like, I really wanted to win. But when you watch those podium results and those points add up, you're like, hey, man, I'm still in the hunt here right now. And you still are. Obviously, Max Garcia with a pretty decent lead right now. This racetrack, though, leans towards you. 3 wins, a triple header. How important is that as well? 3 races here at your favorite track.
Yeah, I believe there's 99 points on the board for this race. Yeah, so 99 points, a lot of
98 now because you've already got at least
98,
one.
98. I took one of them. So we're going to try to get as many as the rest of the 98 that we can, and try to close the gap in the championship, maybe even take the lead of the championship. Anything can happen here, so we'll see what can happen.
You got great speed. You're getting ready to go racing here this afternoon. Last year for that win, you went wheel-to-wheel with Simon Sykes. You guys took the gloves off and went at each other. You know what it's like to be in that kind of a battle. You can draw back on that, I would expect as well.
Yeah, so, I know what could happen, and when it does go wheel-to-wheel racing, what to do and certain situations. But really at this track, you can't overdrive. You have to stay calm. That's it, and that's what I did in that race. Even though Sykes was on my tail the entire race, I just stayed calm, and, that's what I'm going to be doing today. And this race starting from the pole position. So
Best of luck.
Thank you.
There he is, folks, Evagoras Papasavas. We talked about the start of the season. He had that great run of podium finishes, kept it going with consistency. A couple of issues, but really every driver's had a couple issues on the season. We're into the second half of it now, the forward push towards Portland. Let's have a look at the first half of the season in USF 2000. It should come as no surprise at all that the battle in the USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tire is super tight. As the middle level of this USF Pro Championships, not only do you have drivers coming back for another year of USF 2000, but you have those talented drivers from USF Juniors coming up. You have the rookies to USF 2000. The similarities of the 2 cars mean the drivers can pick things up super easily. I think everybody knew that Max Garcia would be one of the drivers to watch. He was very impressive as a rookie last year, just 14 years of age in 2023. Here he is, 15 years of age, again back with Pabst Racing, and he's been very good. Swept the weekend of the opening round in St. Petersburg, giving him, of course, a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence rolling through the remainder of the first half of the season. But drivers were stepping up. Not surprising that we'd see guys like Sam Corey get victories. He was able to get a win for Pabst Racing as well at NOLA Motorsports Park and backed it up later in the season at the last event at Road America. Other drivers in there, of course, Max Taylor, not surprisingly, he's been good running both USF Juniors and USF 2000. He got a win at Road America to keep himself in the fight. One of the drivers has been so consistent on the season for Jay Howard Driver Development, who won last year here at Mid-Ohio. Evagoras Papasavas had a run of podium finishes to start the season. He's had a little trouble in the last couple of races, but he's still right there in the championship fight as well. You can't forget Joey Brienza. He's been super consistent all season long. He's in the scrap as well, and he likes this racetrack. Could find himself with a couple of wins here to vault him up into the championship battle, and right there as well in sixth. Just like USF Juniors, 6 drivers really in championship contention. The single car effort for Elliott Cox, the Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development number 67, has had a great run. Kind of changed his mindset a little bit from 2023 to 2024. Not quite as aggressive, more consistent, more patient. Very similar to what we're seeing give success to Max Taylor. They're all fighting because the guy up front, Max Garcia, like I talked about, his success this season has given him a pretty big gap coming into the middle half of the season. Garcia's a guy to watch out for. If he gets on a roll, gets a couple more victories, they may not be able to catch him when we get to Portland at the end of August.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
And in the matter of time, it's set up for us to be able to go racing here for USF 2000. The clouds have opened up. They dampened the end of IndyCar practice, and we are going to have ourselves a wet race for this initial Tatis Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. The USF 2000 drivers kicking things off. It was supposed to be USF Juniors. They were supposed to run after qualifying was capped off, but that got moved for track repairs over in turn number 4. Junior drivers now back in the paddock getting ready to go for their race as we get set to roll out here for, again, the first of 7 races on the weekend. 3 for USF 2000, 2 each for USF Juniors and USF Pro 2000. And again, the rain has fallen, as I said. It's not a torrential rain right now, but it is a steady rain, which will make for good racing conditions. All the drivers with the new Continental wet tires on their race cars, 18 in total, getting steady to roll out onto the grid here momentarily. IndyCar vacating their positions on pit lane, the AMR IndyCar safety crew. Of course, the safety checks around the track. We have had quite a bit of rain, so will there be standing water? We'll make sure that gets up to race control, but otherwise, we are set to go. Myself here, Rob Howden, the voice of this USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, alongside the voice of Mid-Ohio. Before we jump in to the driver introductions, let's have a quick chat here with John Phippen. John, this track wet. I know I could talk all about what it was like wet in the old pavement. What's it like with the new asphalt?
That's a question we're about to answer. We
Really?
have not had a lot of wet weather running.
Okay.
What little we had was during a vintage weekend, and it's kind of hard to gauge that because the vintage drivers are kind of cautious under wet conditions, so we didn't learn a whole lot under that. So this will be the first time we've had a Pro Series in earnest in wet weather conditions, so we'll see. This track used to be called Diabolical in the wet, quite frankly, and the understanding we have is it is no longer diabolical,
Okay.
but it is still going to be slippery because it's brand new pavement. It's pretty smooth, and of course with all the undulations and the vertical we have here, there are some spots where there'll be some puddling. There's some down at the exit of the S's down at the bottom of turn 6. There's usually a bit of a puddle at the inside of that turn. There's one coming right onto the front straightaway here, just off the racing line, and a few others. So some places on the back straightaway where the rivers run across, but the rain appears to have slacked off a bit.
Yeah.
So we have a perfectly a well-sodden racetrack, but it doesn't appear to be getting any worse at the moment. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Even that a little light mist is fine, right? Keep us in those wet conditions. It's that transition that always makes it tough for the drivers. As you can see them rolling in out here right now, let's start at the tail of the field. 18 drivers set to go here for the Tatis Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, USF 2000, the second rung on this program. Road number 9, we'll see the number 93 of Giovanni Cabrera out of Florida from Exclusive Autosport, making the move up from USF Juniors this year. He'll start 18th alongside Maxwell Jamison, who had some trouble in qualifying, the D-Force driver out of Texas in the number 12. Up now to row number 8 on the outside out of Arizona. It's Jace Bacon, only his second start here in USF 2000 in that number 7 machine for Jay Howard Driver Development. Bacon, the rookie on the outside. On the inside, a driver we've seen run up front, but not a great qualifying effort so far for Hudson Schwartz. He'll put his head down and try to work his way forward. Schwartz in that number 22 machine, the driver out of Arlington, Virginia, just 15 years of age. He'll look to move forward. Up the row number 7 right now. This driver coming off a victory in the F1600 Championship Series, former Team USA scholarship driver as well. That's Ayrton Hauk in the number 58 driver who now currently sits 10th place in points in his rookie season. Hauk for DC Autosport on the outside of row 7. Inside will be the Texan Brady Golan in the number 18. Golan running for D-Force Racing, starting in the 13th spot. Moving now up to row number 12 on the outside, another DC Autosport driver out of California, Carson Eder in the number 57. He'll start outside row 6, as I said. Alongside him, Sam Corey, second place in points. Deep starting spot for the driver out of Cornelius, North Carolina. 2 times a winner on the season so far. The Pabst Racing pilot in that number 23. Going to have to put his head down and dig forward. Starting now into the top 10, row 5 on the outside at Indianapolis, Indiana, a Colorado native, Joey Brienza for Exclusive Autosport in the number 91, starting in the 10th spot. Alongside him, Lucas Facuri out of Brazil in the number 10. Car you're seeing right now, your current point leader right now, Max Garcia for Pabst Racing in the number 24. He will start 8th place outside of row number 4, and the driver in 4th in points, Max Taylor, starting in the 7th spot in the number 3 for VRD Racing, a powerhouse row 4. Both those drivers with multiple wins on the seasons. Taylor on the inside, Garcia on the outside. We'll go now to another row forward and have a look at the number 67. If you see it here on screen, that is the red, blue, and white. Beautiful number 67 for Elliot Cox for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development. He'll start 6th alongside Thomas Schrag. Team USA scholarship driver, a Formula 1600 Championship Series title winner, Schrag for VRD Racing, an Ohio driver here at Mid-Ohio, starting 5th in the number 2. Row number 2 on the outside, USF Juniors champion from last year, the scholarship colors on the car, Nicholas Giafoni out of Brazil, multi-time winner last year in juniors, and he won here at Mid-Ohio, so he's got good speed here at this racetrack. Alongside him will be Michael Costello in that number 8 machine. Costello for Jay Howard Driver Development, starting in 3rd. 18 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row, off pole, all the way from Australia. Had a chance to head home after the last race at Road America, back here on American soil. That is Quinn Armstrong for D-Force Racing, an outside front row starting spot. Very impressive run there for Quinn Armstrong. And the driver on the pole position with those wet Continental tires around this Tatis USF 22 race car, Evagoras Papasavas. This was the place last year in Mid-Ohio where he broke through and got his first ever USF 2000 victory. That has given him confidence coming into this weekend. A really strong season thus far. Great start to the season with 4 podium finishes, 5 straight top 5s. There's been some ups and downs. There's been some hardships, but he is ready to dig in here and try to work his way back into the championship fight. Papasavas loves this Mid-Ohio racetrack. We talked to him, of course, off the top with the pre-show. And John Phippen, when you love Mid-Ohio, you can go faster. It's one of those tracks, when you believe in yourself here, it always shows. It's a driver's racetrack. It's challenging. And the drivers who do well here consistently do well here.
Especially in the wet. This is a track that rewards familiarity, and it'll be curious to see how many of these drivers are aware of the wet racing line, which is frequently faster off the normal racing line. So you'll see some of these drivers riding the rim around the outside of the turn, way off what would normally be the racing line, and that's where all the grip is. And again, with this new pavement, be curious to see how that wet line has evolved with this new pavement here. So this will be a good test for us to see how this track is going to hold up in the wet weather conditions.
So we had a bit of rain yesterday during the test session. A number of drivers went out. Some didn't run the whole sessions. That's why you do it. Get an opportunity to feel for the track when they're on the facility during a test day, during a practice day. You get out there. You get in the wet because you're going to get challenged in a race. And the key, of course, here is the opening lap. Get out cleanly. Run strong. A driver like Papasavas is going to have that advantage of not having that spray out in front. Visibility always at an absolute minimum in the wet. Oftentimes, with a brand new racetrack, it kicks up a lot more rooster tails as well. We'll see how that plays out once we get a full field rolling into turn number 1, 2, and of course, all the way down to turn number 4 through the 5-6 combination. Everybody kind of on a fact-finding mission. They say that the opening lap's kind of a reconnaissance lap. I'd say that the first 3 or 4 or 5 laps could be reconnaissance laps. They're going to continue to learn, because it's not just out there turning laps like they did in the test day, John. This is actually battling. This is wheel-to-wheel racing. This isn't just turning laps to get a feel for the car. These guys are wheel-to-wheel.
And you can see in this shot here, this camera shot, as the drivers are weaving their way down the back straightaway, you can see the tire marks, just how effective these Continental wets are at lifting that water off the racetrack and leaving a dry track behind it. So it won't take too long, especially as they begin to run at speed. They're going to kick that moisture up in the air, and it's going to begin to dissipate some as the rain appears to have stopped, at least from our vantage point here on the front straightaway. But as you can see, Rooster Tail's coming up. The track is still plenty wet, but it's not getting any wetter right at the moment.
And we'll do 2 pace laps, being told. Give the drivers 2 opportunities to get around the facility, get a feel for it, get the visual on what it's going to be like in terms of any potential standing water. As John said, it's not raining on track right now. We see fans, spectators walking around, people on pit lane. There are no umbrellas out here right now. Yep. The interested spectators, the 23 USF Juniors drivers who are going to be on the false grid here momentarily, get ready for their race. Are they going to be on wets? Are we going to see, is the rain done? Yeah. Are we going to find a dry line? Is somebody going to roll the dice and put on, or will we even need to roll the dice and put on slick tires? Will it be a fully slick race? Are we going to have a transition to the middle of this one? We'll see. But nonetheless, a wrinkle thrown into it here at Mid-Ohio, and oftentimes we'll get a wet race here. It's one of the characteristics of competition here at Mid-Ohio. The precipitation does find its way around at times for sure. The drivers will work their way again across. One more time back around here, folks, and then we'll go green flag racing with Papasavas and Armstrong on row 1. Costello and Giafoni on row number 2. Thomas Schrag and Elliott Cox on row 3. Max Taylor and Max Garcia, row 4. Lucas Facuri alongside Joey Brienza on row 5. Sam Corey and Carson Eder, row 6. Brady Gold and Ayrton Hauk, row 7. Hudson Schwartz and Jace Bacon, row 8. Maxwell Jameson and Giovanni Cabrera on row number 9. John, you got 3 of your colleagues out on the racetrack here that'll be in certain parts of the racetrack. They've been here, part of the program for quite a while. Again, lots of people watching at home on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel on app. Why don't you take the time to introduce your guys to all of our followers?
As they're going around on their second pace lap, again, we're really proud of our announce crew here at Mid-Ohio. We're one of the few tracks in the country that does have turn announcers on our PA call. And as you mentioned, our vantage point here overlooking the start-finish line right here in front of the tower. But as the cars leave my view and through turn number 1, they head up toward the keyhole, and they're in the view of Rusty Bell. Good afternoon, Rusty.
Good afternoon, everybody out here. Looking forward to getting the USF 2000s underway. It has stopped raining here on the back straightaway. I pick up the cars at turn 1. They make their way up into the top of the keyhole turn, then down the long back straightaway to the best passing area on the track as they lead into the S's.
And when they come down into the S's, they're in the view of Tom Michaels. Hey, Tom.
Hey, John, and hey, everybody. We got the umbrellas out here. The cars are on the racetrack. They're kicking up the Rooster Tails right now as they come through the S's. The hard right-hander at turn 4, up a little bit of a hill to turn 5. Gets light over that hill and down into turn 6 with the right-hander. That takes you around to the backside of the race course.
That's where they come into the view of Steve Conley. Hey, Steve.
Hey, John, and as the cars go by me now, the lights are off on top of the pace car. Evagoras Papasavas has them as they exit turn 9. This is an off-camber turn. Trouble can get in a hurry. You can find yourself in trouble down in here, down through Thunder Valley, where there is some puddling. And then the cars start to work back up the hill towards turn number 11, heading to the carousel and back in front of you, John, and for the call for the start of this USF 2000 race.
They're pairing up, and here's the voice of the USF Championships, Rob Howden.
Steve, thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. Getting set to go, as we said, Papasavas and Quinn Armstrong on the front row, Jay Howard driver development on the inside, D-Force Racing on the outside. The start zone, when they get out of the corner, Papasavas is going to roll. You got to watch for wheel spin, get the car straight. Green flag going to fly, and we are underway. Green, 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 racing in USF 2000. Big jump as well from Michael Costello, trying to find his team, follow his teammate through. He's to the inside. Thus far, drivers are doing a good job through the opening corner, through turn number 1. They'll work their way out of 1 to the famed keyhole. A bit of a climb up the hill. You'll see the drivers 3, maybe 4 wide. And again, Papasavas taking full advantage of the open racetrack, no spray. Same goes for Quinn Armstrong as he tucks the car to the inside a little bit, maybe gave up a little bit in terms of the corner. The driver's going around. Potential contact coming out of the corner just on the left side of the screen. A driver maybe around there. Rusty Bell, can you see that from where you are?
Well, we had Jace Bacon go around to turn 1. There's so much spray, I can't see the exit of the keyhole turn yet.
There they go, back down into turn number 9, the first time through, or the turn number 4 through turn number 5. Again, I believe I saw a driver go around. Have not heard anything yet about it from race control, but you can see that driver working its way around. Potentially the car 2 could be stationary. Another spin coming down out of turn number 5, guys. That may have been the leader. Was that indeed the leader? Another driver off the your right down there. That's the 11. So that, I believe, might have been Papasavas and Quinn Armstrong. First and second getting together over in turn number 5. Those drivers were in a great position. We are now full course yellow, and Max Taylor has taken over the lead. Taylor had slotted into third, and the leaders getting together, full course caution. And there is Quinn Armstrong coming off a difficult Road America weekend, a great starting spot, and he finds himself sideways. Of course, didn't quite get the chance to see that, but Tom Michael, I believe, happening right in front of you. Did you see what happened with our leaders?
Yeah, one of the cars came up over top of the hill. Now, it was the one that had a little bit of an edge as they came up over top of 5. A spun, caught the other car, and I think that the car that got hit is the one that's actually sitting down there. Just off in the grass over there by the barrier coming on to turn 7.
Yeah, I think it's Papasavas and Armstrong. I think you're absolutely right.
So Papasavas potentially going around, coming over the hill. And, John, you and I have talked about this. There's parts of this racetrack, they get super light. We're actually going to have a look at the replay here, folks. We'll have a look at home here. We'll try to run our way back through this. Papasavas and Quinn Armstrong got the start. Here they come up over the top of the hill. Car super light. Of course, you're trying to get back to power, and Papasavas on power, loses the rear, and that's going to be right rear damage to Quinn Armstrong. Quinn with nowhere to go at all. Papasavas just losing the rear, going back to power. Again, it's the undulations of this racetrack. The car gets super light. You're back on power trying to roll through on it. And I'll tell you that the benefactor here was Max Taylor in third. He watched it happen and was able to cruise down into turn number 6.
It looked like Papasavas, however, was able to continue. He rejoined in about 10th position, so he'll have an opportunity to redeem himself. Yeah, he came by in 9th as they came by start-finish, but we're stacked up behind the Honda Civic Type R pace car, and we're seeing the car that was off up at the keyhole turn.
Thomas Schrag, I think. I think the number 2 of Thomas Schrag in the VRD machine. There he is right there. Thomas being able to pull away. And listen, John, we talked about, hey, you qualify on pole. The benefit, no spray. No spray in your face, all this visibility, but you're also the first guy through every corner, right?
Yep.
You don't know what the grip level's like. You're not watching the driver in front of you. Is he dancing? Do you need to get off the throttle a little bit?
Right.
Maybe a little easier on the turn-in. No, he's the first guy through. He's on the throttle, and again, just misjudged it, and around he went. Again, tough one for Quinn Armstrong. He's the guy that ends up being the damaged car. He was the collateral damage of what happened there, going off with damage to the right rear. No fault of his own whatsoever. Max Taylor getting the benefactor there. Nicholas Giafoni up into second. Costello third. Cox fourth. Garcia fifth. Ayrton Hauk, who started, where did Ayrton start? Back in 14th. He's up into 6th. What a fantastic opening lap for Ayrton Hauk. And then we've got Sam Corey, Joey Brienza, Papasavas, and Gold. We do have a replay as well of what happened over in turn number 2, the keyhole. And I had said they looked like there was side-by-side contact, drivers getting together. I don't know if one driver I lost him. I watched them as they come down through. You're likely looking at 4th or 5th on back. Not 4th. There's let's see back there. 5th. That's Giafoni on the inside. Thomas Schrag potentially on the outside. Giafoni's running the inside line. Way to the outside. Is it further back? It is indeed a little bit. No, that's him right there. There's the contact there. A little further back behind the 3 of Taylor. Can't quite see which driver. Someone made contact with Thomas Schrag coming out of the corner as the cars were tracking out, heading over to the exit point.
Yeah, he was kind of an innocent bystander there, so he was going around the outside of that turn. The driver to the inside, which we weren't able to see the number from that replay, just got loose and tapped him into a spin. So
we're still on yellow, so if we can see that replay again, I'd like to have it now that John and I've had a kind of a chance to look at it and get some detail. That would be great because, again, you're doing the best you can, right? You're trying to hold the line. That's one of the things when you're in the wet like this. It's hard to make a big lane change. The minute you make a lane change, you put so much wheel into it. Look a bit further back, top of the hill. I think that one might have been Elliot Cox down the inside. Yeah, Elliot's down the bottom. He loses the rear end a little bit. Coming in the inside, he gets into the side of the number 2. You can see Brienza getting by cleanly, Garcia getting by cleanly, but it looked like Cox had the car down to the bottom, and he's holding on to it. But again, as he's rolling on the throttle, the rear end comes around, and at that point, he's got to put steering input back into it.
Exactly right.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough for both those drivers. Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It'd be hard to assign fault, to that.
Yep.
You could certainly say that Cox might have been the one to look at, but race control might look at that as a racing incident. Hey, it's the first lap. They're side by side on a wet racetrack. What are you going to do?
Tough, of course, for Evagoras Papasavas for that spin, although, as John said, he come back into ninth. He was P9, so he was able to continue. Taylor, of course, rolling through. Another driver spun. That's Garcia. Garcia has gone around as well under the yellow. The AMR crew, you can see to the right side, working their way back to their post, but that's a spin coming down out of turn number 6 for Max Garcia. Not sure whether that was contact or, again, just getting on the throttle early. Again, we're getting a feel for what it's like with this racetrack in the wet. How do these Continental tires grip on this new pavement? We do have a look at the spin for Max Garcia as well as, again, laps clicking away as the drivers work their way around here. We'll have a look at what happened. They're coming down. There's the AMR safety crew, and this is something you don't want to see when the crew is still on the racetrack. Garcia rolls down into the corner, simply loses it at apex.
Yep. Got on the throttle a little bit, and off around it went.
Well, and here's the weird thing about the track as well. It's got so much. It hasn't been run a lot, number one.
Yep.
The rubber's gone down. We were here on track on Thursday, but the rain washed it away.
Yep.
The rain last night again. We were on track all earlier today. The rain has come to wash that off a little bit. It's almost like there's no real rain line as of yet. We haven't seen anybody really get at it. We've seen drivers spinning on the inside, spinning on the outside. Normally, when you're trying to tighten an apex like Max was down to the inside, if you're trying to really tighten that apex, the rear end's going to come around on you. You need to be wider and maybe a little more soft on the steering. Tough one for Max Garcia. Of course, he'll lose a couple of spots there. I don't know whether or not he'll be able to come back up to his position or not.
I noticed just as we cut away from the replay, Garcia was passing some cars trying to retake his position. Is he permitted to do that?
I was just saying that. I don't know whether or not that's the case. If you spin under the yellow, I actually don't have that call. I am being told that the incident between the number 2 and the number 67 of Schrag and the 67 Fox, that's under review right now. And I'm also getting told that Max Garcia is being sent to the tail of the field, spinning on the yellow. So here he is. That's him right there, falling to the tail of the field. So he'll go all the way behind now, I believe. I want to say Thomas Schrag, but Schrag may be a lap down, so he'll be probably just in front of Thomas Schrag. So, indeed, more excitement than we expected, I think, at the start of this race. The leader initiating essentially the chain reaction. We saw a couple of events on track. We had the wreck up in turn number 2. We had the spin in turn number 5 and 6. And then another one in 6. Number of drivers going off. Let's just say that everybody kind of maybe struggled to figure out this racetrack early, John.
Exactly right. Well, it's a curveball thrown to these drivers as we see somebody going right down through the puddle here, down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, there's the 67 of Elliot Cox. So, indeed, incident responsibility, not surprising, betwing Cox and Thomas Schrag.
They're sending him to the back as well.
Yeah, so he's going to go to the back as well for the contact between he and Thomas Schrag. So, a lot of drivers with some issues here. Our new Honda Civic Type R pace car bolting away from the field as they come down into Thunder Valley because that car has got to get back to pit lane because the green flag will fly this next time by. We've put 4 laps in the books. It'll be lap 5 when they come back around. So it'll be 15 laps remaining, a lapse time 12 minutes. And again, we could be up on a time, as I said on this one here. Still 27 minutes remaining, lots of time still left in the run. But this is going to put Max Taylor, who comes in here 4th place in points. He is going to be your leader. He punches off. Oh, and he almost loops it coming out of the corner as well. He got way on the throttle. Lost a bit of that, but Giafoni was not close enough to be able to make a run. Here they come down into turn number 1 whatsoever. And more contact there. Ayrton Hauk together with Costello. Drivers together into turn number 1. Another driver can't make the corner from further back. I think that's going to be Jace Bacon again going off in the number 7. Bacon not able to make the corner coming into turn number 1. And it was Costello and Hauk battling for 3rd. Both those drivers going off over in turn number 1. Not sure whether or not they were able to get back onto the racetrack or not. Getting a Another full course yellow. Rusty Bell, what do you think happened over there?
All three stuck in the gravel trap right now. Nobody able to get through that. They just made side-to-side contact, I think, right through the middle of the turn. Not sure if it was the 58 that started that or not, but it sounds like we're going to take a look.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the replay. Rusty, of course, getting it from his vantage point over on the back straightaway. Here's the look. Very clean and green through for Taylor and Giafoni. You watch both those drivers coming through. It looks like Hauk maybe got into the corner. He was turned in, but it looks like the car maybe wiggled a bit on him, and he pushed wide into Costello. So I think that Hauk was trying to roll the corner and probably lost the rear bit on the entry. John, would you agree?
I would agree. On the restart, I saw a car dive to the inside to try to make a pass at the inside of turn one, and I'm guessing that was Hauk trying to make up a position, and he just left his braking a little bit too late into that very slippery turn and just, drifted wide and into the car on the outside, and that's what caused the problem.
Hey, listen, you've driven before when you're a race car driver and you get what we call a run.
Yep.
I mean, you're coming out of the corner and you got to run. You're like, I got this guy.
Yeah.
Whatever's happened, I'm taking this. I got to run on him. And he gets a run and you go to the inside. But, again, if there's no grip down there, if you're having to get the car to turn a little bit, it doesn't come out that way. And, in a race like this, you want patience. Look at Joey Brienza right now. He's P4. Brienza started in 10th position. He's 4th. Ayrton Hauk was 14th. He came across the line in 4th. Patience. You started 14th. If you're running 4th, get away. Just let it happen. You're going to be able to, to come home with a good result. Sam Corey started 11th.
Yeah, he's 3rd.
He's 3rd.
Yeah.
These drivers and then Papasavas is back into the 5th position right now. Again, no instant responsibility for him. He spun.
Right.
A contact, of course, with Quinn Armstrong, but it wasn't intentional. It just happened after a spin. So he's back up to 5th place already. A driver looking to get some points. You got guys further back like Max Garcia now back up into 10th position. The lack of patience right now is not something we're trying to get it across these drivers. Just bring it home sometimes.
Yeah.
And let the race
come
happen.
to you.
Yeah. Open up. These
right.
guys are trying to do everything on the opening lap where if they just let it open up, you're going to stretch away quickly. Let 2-3 laps go by. You're going to find yourself in the top 5 and no one's catching you.
Yeah.
You just got to be patient.
And now you see some drivers going offline behind the safety car looking for water to keep those rain tires cool, because as the track begins to dry, these rain tires are going to go away very quickly. It's a very soft rubber compound, and it will wear down to a slick very, very quickly if they don't take the opportunity to cool it off at every option.
Again, this is just such a wrinkle here for the guys in USF Juniors who are going to be coming down here to the false grid pretty soon, thinking about their race, which is set to go at about 5:50 here local time. So, indeed, they're all wondering, how do we play this? Are we going to be on? Again, it's kind of set up in the car a little bit too, right?
Sure.
If you know it's full wet, you can set the car up a little bit differently than if it's full dry conditions. So everybody wondering what they're going to do, how they're going to play the game here right now. And again, here we are with 6 laps down. How many? If we had maybe 2 full green flag laps, if that.
If that, yeah. I don't know that we got a full lap.
No, I don't know that we have either. Drivers having so much trouble here in the wet right now in USF 2000. And again, our first wet race of the year. Again, we've had a test here in the wet. There's been wet testing throughout the year. I believe our first full wet race, though. But indeed, here we go. Let's try it again. Back around again for the drivers here in USF 2000. Pace car will lead them to complete lap number 7. And ideally, again, this could be a longer cleanup for sure as well as they come through turn number 1. We're talking about 3 cars stuck over there. Rusty, can you see the scene? Are they on it? Is there a couple cars even? Is even one gone yet?
2 cars are already out of the gravel. The 8 is up onto the track right now. Just needs to refire, and he'll be underway, but he's going to lose a lap here as the pace car goes by. But Costello will be underway here. They're just holding him until the field goes by.
Yeah, I feel a bit there for Michael Costello. He had a really good race car in the dry, and, of course, looking at it here in the wet as well. Just a tough one there for Ayrton Hauk to throw it to the inside to try to make it happen. And I understand the aggression. He's trying to bounce his way back. He's currently sitting 10th place in points. Hey, I'm good in the wet. I had a good run. I'm going to P3. I'm going to get cleanly through here and be able to pull away with the leaders. Maybe I could even win this thing, right? You're thinking that you could even win it. Instead, you find yourself in the gravel trap and, the best laid plans of mice and men, right?
Exactly. So we're showing 2 cars a lap down. Thomas Schrage, who was involved in that incident up at the keyhole on the first lap. Jace Bacon, who went off probably to avoid the incident here at turn 1. So he's being shown a lap down as well. Then Ayrton Hauk is also 1 lap down. He just came by our vantage point. Michael Costello being shown 2 laps down, and Quinn Armstrong retired after that damage to the rear of his car in that first lap incident there at turn 6.
So let's have a look at the top 10 as we have some time here and see these drivers who have benefited from all this chaos. Max Taylor started in 7th. He's now the leader. Nicholas Giafoni's 4th. He's 2nd. Sam Corey outside the top 10, 11th. He is now 3rd. Joey Brienza started in 10th. He is up into 4th. Papasavas was P1 back to 9th. Now he's 5th. Brady Golan started 13th. He's up to 6th spot. Hudson Schwartz was 15th. He's up to 7th. Maxwell Jameson, 17th. He's up to 8th. Lucas Fakuri, who started 9th. That's where he runs, held station. Max Garcia, who got a penalty for a spin under yellow, went to the very tail of the field, now finds himself back up to 10th. Literally, you and I could go there, stay out of trouble, just run around the back and get top 10s here, I think.
Well, the pace car is leading the race right
That's
now.
true.
So, that's the way it looks. Max Garcia, of course, the points leader with 4 wins on the season, obviously has the skills to make it happen, but got a little over exuberant coming down the hill there at turn 5, out of turn 5, and but he's making inroads back. He's back up into the top 10.
I will say this: behind Max Garcia right now are Sam Corey, Evagoras Papasavas, Max Taylor, and Joey Brienza. All 4 of those drivers now run in front of him on the racetrack. So now Garcia's going to keep coming forward. We know he's going to be able to be fine in the wet. He had a little bit of a spin there. But again, all you can do as a driver when you're trying to get back into a championship is beat the guy who's P1. Right? As long as you're closing to the guy who's at the top of the charts, P1, that's the key. And get it done like that. So, again, all these drivers up front need to think about that and do the best they can here. Outside the top 10, good run, as I said, for Max Garcia. Carson Eder started 12th. He's 11th. Giovanni Cabrera started 18th. He's up into 12th. So +6 for Cabrera, staying out of trouble, keeping away, and, of course, avoiding all the incidents in front of him as well. Elliot Cox with that penalty. He is now into 13th spot. Again, I believe he's still, though, on the lead lap. Need Cox on the lead lap still. 13 cars remain on the lead lap of the 18 that started incidents like crazy over the first half of this race. Even if we go green this next time by, it'll be 9 of the 20 laps. So, indeed.
And we're halfway through the time. We just passed 20 minutes, so we've got 20 minutes remaining. So we're halfway through the time, and we're not quite halfway through the laps. So if we can keep it green the rest of the way, they might get all the laps in, but time may well be a factor here.
Tom Michael, looks to me like the lights are out on the pace car, I think.
Well, we'll watch it as it comes by. We'll look at the back end. Yes, indeed, they are out. We should be getting to start.
Yeah, let's go racing here, guys. Let's see if we can't get some laps in. And the key is, and John brought it out, the fact that potentially we got a drying racetrack, but then we're getting reports from our guys in the track, John, that the rain coming back down again. So, all right.
Let's have some more fun.
Let's have some more.
Yeah, it's raining here on the front straightaway. You can see it in the puddles. So
yeah, let's and significantly. Yeah. So again, the USF Junior drivers who are wondering whether or not they're going to get a dry track.
No.
Potentially not now.
I'm guessing no. Yeah.
They still have a half an hour before they're to take to the track anyways. 5:50, I believe, the scheduled start time for USF Juniors. That event being moved to the end of the day after an issue with the track needed repair over in turn number 4. Pace car is gone. We're going to go back at it once again here. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps in here for USF 2000. Taylor, Giafoni, Corey, Brienza, and Papasavas, your top 5. You got to watch it coming on the power onto the front straightaway. The minute you jump on the loud pedal, the rear end wants to sweep around, and there goes Carson Eder. Eder into the gravel trap coming out of the corner, and he is going to be beached as well. That'll be another full course yellow. Carson Eder, who was running there just outside the top 10. All it takes is to come on the front straightaway. The car's not straight. You roll on the power, and around it goes. I would expect they're probably going to let them race for a bit here. Yeah, they'll probably let them race. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, no, we're all full course caution already. I kind of thought we'd race them down into turn number 4 or 5 at least to see if anybody could have some action. But no, Eder spinning the rear wheels over in exit of turn number 13. What do you do, John? Live and learn, I guess. This is a development series.
Sure.
These drivers learning what not to do in the wet. Tough as the rain continues to fall here again. And we will not go back to rain. This will be a quick cleanup. The AMR IndyCar crew already working their way out of their post over in turn number 11 and 12 to get back over here. They'll be able to get him hopefully flat-toed out, but I don't think there's going to be any damage on the car.
Yeah, he's just buried in the gravel, and there's no way he could drive out even if he kept the engine running, which he has not. The fast flashing of that rain light indicates that the engine has stalled. So
we got to look at this one here, folks, and I think it was right on the screen. If you watched it from home, you saw Carson go around. So here he is. Look for Carson a little bit further back in that black, red, and blue machine behind Garcia in the black and yellow Advanced Auto Parts car, the Priority Workforce number 57 of Carson. Gives himself some room. Oh, he gets a little bit up on the curbing as well there, and around it goes.
Yep.
You can see back on the throttle, and you touch that curbing a little bit. It's going to be wet. It's going to move around a bit. Unloads the car a little bit as well. He gets on the power and just quickly spins around. And I'll tell you, that is the worst feeling. That's the last thing you want, because the minute you do that, you can hear the engine revs come up right around you go. And you're like, I didn't do that. You know, he was sitting in the cockpit saying, I didn't just do that. I did not just do that. Because he's going to lose a lap, I believe, here as they come all the way back around. Yeah, he's lost a lap here. Only 12 drivers remain now on the lead lap. Taylor, Giafoni, Corey, Brienza, Golan top 5. Papasavas goes to 6. So Golan, sounds like he might have been able to get around Papasavas before we went yellow. Schwartz in 7th, Garcia 8th, Maxwell Jamison in 9th, Cox 10th, Facuri 11th, Giovanni Cabrera 12th, 13th Schrag, 14th Hauk, 15th Bacon, then Eder, Costello, and Armstrong. Indeed, they'll drag the machine of Eder back out here, and with it, a yard of gravel. Hopefully they'll get that cleared up there quick too. And I don't know that we'll be able to go back to green even this time by, because it's going to take time to get this thing cleaned up. They might even run him through the pit lane here with where he's lined up.
Oh, they've got the jack. They're gonna get him moved around. And I got to every time we have him here, we got to.
I know where you're going.
The AMR safety crew is so good,
man.
I mean, it is just such a joy to have them with us this weekend. They do a better job than anybody else in the country getting these cars done, and he's already underway. And I don't know if they're going to do any brooming of the gravel or if they're just going to let it sit, but they're just getting the jack reaffixed to the back of the safety vehicle, getting a little encouragement from one of the passengers to hurry up.
Let's go.
And if they hustle, we could go back to green this time.
I think we may be able to, because the drivers are not yet into Thunder Valley.
Yeah, there's not a lot of debris on the racetrack.
They've got
the blower.
They got the blower out right now. So
yeah.
So they do a little bit more work on getting the blower done. So we were going to go at least one more time around, giving a good shot at trying to get as much gravel as they can off the track there, using that blower.
Because he obviously tracked some gravel onto the racetrack, so they're backing down the front straightaway with the blower aiming toward the infield, basically to blow any of that latent dust off the track. And now he's going to do a quick donut, getting off the racing surface, off to driver's right, as the field is approaching with the safety car in tow. And we're clean here on the front straightaway. Just missed getting a restart this time by, but we should be able to go next time.
Brooms? We don't need no stinking brooms.
We don't need no brooms. We got a blower, man.
That's it. They got that cleaned up nicely. But, yeah, we'll go green this next time by. But I'm telling you, we're looking worried on time to a certain extent because it's getting tighter. We've got 11 laps in the books. I don't think we've done a full lap of green as of yet. Just tough conditions. All these drivers struggling to stay on the racetrack here, just on the power too early. And they've just got to wait. Just wait. Then get back on the power. The car's got to essentially be straight when you get back on power. Otherwise, it's going around. And so many of these corners are tough. The keyhole, downhill, off camber. The minute you get on the throttle early, it's going to start to come around. It's going to start to rotate. It does it in the dry. It's going to do it in the wet as well. They have to be ready for that. Carson Eder will pick up to the tail of the field. He will be a lap down, as will Ayrton Hauk, Jace Bacon, and Carson Eder. So there's 4 drivers still battling. Thomas Schrag as well, battling for what essentially will be, at this point, 13th.
Yep.
They're all on the same lap. So at the tail of the field, they'll be able to battle to see who comes in 13th unless we have more issues. But Max Taylor right now just driving around like, I can't believe what just happened.
Right.
I started further back 7th, get myself up to 3rd. We got the C's parting in turn number 5, coming down the hill. He ends up with the lead, and he is looking to grab his 3rd win of the season, coming off a victory at Road America. He's 2nd place in points in USF Juniors. This would bump him up nicely. The drivers in front of him in the points are still very close. Sam Corey is actually just a couple behind him, so it's not like he's going to overtake anybody in terms of, I think, the top. I don't know if he even goes to 2nd, depending on how they run on track here, but it's definitely going to bring everybody closer to Max Garcia, who's 8th. Lights are out on the pace car. Hopefully we can go racing here.
And the cool thing is, with all of this, I don't want to call it carnage, but with all of the issues that we've had with all the incidents, we only got 2 cars out of the race. We've still got 16 cars running of the 18 that started. So.
Indeed, yeah. Just there's the contact, of course, for Quinn Armstrong, as we know. Costello's been circulating around the track, but they probably likely brought it in. I know they came to pit lane a couple of times, so not quite sure what's happening there. But folks, we are hopefully going to go racing here right now. Like John introduced earlier, we have 3 turn announcers out there who I hope will maybe be able to help us out sooner or later. We haven't had
other than to report incidents. Yeah,
they've been fantastic spotters for us so far. But indeed, we'll hopefully get it down to those drivers here right now. Working our way out of the corner. Let's see if this time they can do it. I'm just crossing my fingers. Wait.
Sam Corey's going for it down into turn number 1.
Indeed, here we go, down into turn number 1. Corey thinking about the inside of Giafone. Can't quite pull it. Taylor will lead them now up in to turn number 2, the keyhole. Big start here right now for Taylor. A great job for him. And is there any kind of a dry line at all? He'll work his way to the inside. Giafone right there. They're working finally to the outside line. Garcia's going to get a couple of spots. I think he got Schwartz and maybe going after Papa Savas as they work their way out of turn number 2 now, down in front of Rusty Bell.
Watching him now, the number 3 still out in front. A lot of spray being kicked up. I can't even see the numbers as they go by me, but down under braking, it's still number 3 at the point.
3 wide coming at you, Tom Michaels.
Max Taylor's got the lead, then Giafone, we watch him. This is a good battle developing for the number 4 position. Right now, trying to hold on to his position is Joey Brienza. No, he's not. He actually drops back a position there. Back to, looks like 5th.
Yeah, Brady Golan, I think, Steve, getting by there.
Single file through the top 5, but that battle for the 5th position is on. It is the 91 that holds that position. Joey Brienza has moved up from 5th, but he has got pressure on his rear wing.
Yeah, great move by Brady Golan to get to the inside, coming down the hill into turn number 6. Brienza had to give it up. Now he's got Evagoras Papasavas there right now. See a number of different lines being used down here through the carousel, some low, some high, 2, 3 wide, further back. Everybody exploring the racetrack here in the search for grip. Well, there you have it, folks. We actually get our first lap in. The driver's coming around here. There's Ayrton Hauk to the right side of the screen. Drive-through penalty and incident responsibility for the contact with he and Costello. Tough one for him. He's not really going to lose much.
He's already a lap down.
Yeah, he's already a lap down, so he's going to lose a couple of spots here right now. But up front again, Max Taylor gifted the lead here, and thus far he's got the spot. Look at this move to the outside on Corey. Max Garcia, your point leader, to the outside. Big run around the outside of turn number 2. A fantastic pass, losing all the grip on the outside. Rusty Bell, a great move from 4th to 3rd.
That was fantastic in the rain here. He's able to make it stick, drives defensively down the straightaway, but has that spot right now.
Yeah, running away with things is Max Taylor, good distance back. Then the number 1 car of Giafone. And then Max Garcia having moved up into that number 3 position.
As the field crest over turn number 8, we're starting to see that racing line really dry out. Drivers staying right in that line, maybe sticking their left side tires out as Max Taylor does to try to find a little wet weather. We're single file through the top 5, 6, 7, and 8. Our closest battle right now is with Elliott Cox and Maxwell Jamison.
Yeah, I think a good scrap a little further up as well. I'll tell you, the driver on the move right now is Max Garcia, closing up now on Nicholas Giafone. You can see that there. Garcia way wide. Giafone going to run the inside. And for Nicholas Giafone, here's a guy who needs a good result right now. He's had a rough season so far. Winner of the championship last year in USF Juniors. He won here as well in that USF Juniors program at Mid-Ohio. He's back in 9th place in points. He needs to turn some stuff around. He had a really good run on the oval at IRP, but he needs a good race here. He needs to start this weekend off on a high note, get on the podium, get some of that confidence back for the D-Force driver, that confidence he had last year when he stormed his way to the championship. He's having a great fight here right now as Garcia leveraging that outside line. Man, he's done a good job, and he has actually turned the fastest lap of the race so far. Garcia, the man on the move right now. Remember, back into 8th position. He had to fall to the tail of the field after the yellow flag, a spin during the yellow, all the way to the back of the field. He has stormed his way back up. and has minimized the damage. He was behind the 4 guys right behind him in points. Now the only guy behind him in points that stands in front of him is Max Taylor. So an opportunity again for Garcia to stretch away from Corey, Papasavas, Brienza. Big right now for him. We'll see if Giafoni can fight on back. They'll work their way out of turn number 5 down here to turn number 6. You can see everybody getting a better feel for that outside line where that grip normally is on a wet racetrack. Another pass there, I believe, Elliot Cox by Joey Brienza. So Brienza having some trouble. We've watched him kind of go further back here over these last couple of green flag laps. He was up to 4th at one point. First pass by Golan, then Schwartz, and now Elliot Cox, who got penalized as well earlier. He's fought his way back up to 7th as well. So a really solid drive for Elliot Cox coming back forward. Evagoras Papasavas, who had worked his way back to 5th. He's had trouble. Full course yellow again. And again, it's Jace Bacon off the racetrack over in China Beach on the exit of turn number 4. Jace Bacon, his 3rd incident so far today in this race, off over in turn number 4, over cooking into that corner. It's not the first time we've seen drivers there in the wet, but tough one here as we're looking at about 5 laps remaining as they come back around. This one, is this going to go to Taylor, or are they going to get him pulled out of the beach enough for a green-white checker?
Let's hope.
Yeah.
The problem is, and Tom Michaels, you can report on this, they can't get that truck down into the gravel trap because it'll get stuck. Do they have a tow rope long enough to reach that car?
Well, right now they don't have a tow rope. They just got 2 AMR safety crew who trot on over there. They're going to move the truck as close as they can to the dirt, but this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, that's the big issue there when you're right in the middle of the gravel trap there on the outside of turns number 4 and 5. Oh, man, I thought we were going to get a good little run there for a while. Max Taylor.
We had a couple green flags.
We got 2 laps, John. Let's jump up and down. We got 2 laps. We were literally crossing our fingers after we had the first lap in the books here, guys, just to try to see if we could get some laps in here in the tough wet conditions. Taylor, Garcia, Giafoni, your current top 3. 4th is Sam Corey. 5th, Hudson Schwartz. 6th, Brady Golan. 7th, Elliot Cox. Joey Brienza falling back to 8th. You wonder if contact potentially is something bent on that race car because he was running very good up front. He started deeper in the field, as we know, in 10th. Now currently runs in 8th spot. Evagoras Papasavas, who had worked his way back up to 5th, is down there into 9th. And Maxwell Jameson rounding out the top 10. And look at these guys doing a great job getting that car at Jace Bacon out and onto the grass. They're going to keep bringing him back so he's able to work his way onto the track. So we won't go green this time by, obviously, but potentially the next one by because they're going to get Jace on the racetrack here very soon, get him refired likely and back, whether he heads to pit lane or continues on the racetrack. Because the field working its way up out of Thunder Valley now. You can see the great work being done here by the AMR IndyCar safety team. And I'll say, Sean, just enough rope.
Yeah.
Maybe just enough rope to get him out of there. Wow. Yeah. So, again, a little bit of an update from our spotters saying that Bacon just overcooked it coming down into 4 on the brakes. No contact, was essentially by himself on the racetrack and just overcooked it, misjudged the corner, as oftentimes the younger drivers will do. He has gone off in turn number 4, as we said, lost a couple of laps here. Time not good either. We're still seeing 4 laps to go. I'm not being told yet that it's a timed race at this point.
By my clock, we've only got 4 minutes remaining.
All right.
So
we'll see.
I don't think we can get all the laps in, as we're working race lap 16 right now. So.
We also have a very dirty racetrack now because the car came back up, and there is dirt all the way across to the entrance of turn 5.
All right, then. There's an update we didn't want to hear. We'll see what happens there when we come back around. Again, as I always say, folks, international field of drivers, but also international fan base. I'll say hello to those of you watching on the YouTube channel, and we have a really fun group of guys and girls that like to be on the chat room with us as well. Just over 3 minutes remaining here, folks, on the time clock for this one. So I'll say hello to those of you all on the chat right now. Hope you're having a good day here today. We are going to come back to potentially the green and white. I'm getting told that's potentially what's happening here right now. So we'll go green-white when we come back around. So how about 1 lap? And indeed, as Tom Michaels told us, with a track that may not be absolutely perfect. So, again, at least right now, Max Taylor is getting a chance to survey it going through, John. This will be his opportunity to kind of look around and say, okay, what am I dealing with? How much dirt is potentially on the way up into turn 5?
But I have to say, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, my money's on Max Garcia. He has worked his way back up through the field after that spin he had in the first lap. He's already set the fastest lap of the race. I think he's going to be tough to keep behind him for Max Taylor.
And John, is he not owning the outside line? He is committing to the outside, coming
Yep.
through the keyhole like nobody else. Everybody else kind of on that middle a little bit, feathering it on the throttle. He's just powering around the outside, letting that thing take a set and just driving around the outside. He's on the power so much earlier when you're out there as well.
Yep.
You're going to get a better run down the straightaway. Pace car will head into pit lane, folks. It is time to go racing. Talk about a green and white here. One lap dash. You'll see who wins here in USF 2000. The juniors are sitting on the false grid, ready to do it all themselves as well. That race set to go in about 15 minutes. Who is going to be on the podium here? Taylor's going to bring him onto the front straightaway, and we are racing. Does Max Garcia have anything for him? Here comes Sam Corey as well on Giafoni as they work their way up into turn number 1. Pretty solid through turn 1. Big move down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's Brady Golan looking to the inside of Hudson Schwartz. Thought better of it and tucked out a little bit there. Here comes the run again. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes Taylor. He needs to go to the high side to hold on to the spot. Doesn't go all the way high, but enough, I think, to hold him back. Giafoni there, but Garcia didn't get to do that deep run to the outside. You can see some drying lines into that corner for sure, as Hauk still out there as well. Down the straightaway here into turn number 4 through the kink turn 3. This will be the first opportunity for Taylor to block to the inside. Really, once you get out of turn number 6, it's hard to make any kind of a pass at all. And Taylor, does he overcook it into the corner? He's got the spot right now. Big move to the inside. Golan coming down to the bottom. Cox is there as well. Cox going to try to run the outside. He's going to get Golan and go to 6. Move Cox up to P6. Great final lap here as they work their way down. Big outside run. That is a karting move for sure. These kids know running the outside line from their years of national level karting. Max Taylor looking to bring home his 3rd win on the season. Garcia would be smart to bring it home 2nd. He's got that point lead.
Yep.
Don't throw away a P2. Giafoni's thinking only about trying to get back on the podium, but the guy behind him pushing as well, Sam Corey. Back up over the hill. There'll be multiple lines going into turn number 11 and 12. Taylor looking to get another win. This kid's on fire right now as he comes out of the final corner through the carousel. Can he get it done in the final couple of corners? Indeed, he does. The number 3 of Max Taylor will win. Taylor victorious in a ugly wet race here at Mid-Ohio. Multiple yellows. Double checker from Aaron Likens. Taylor with the win. Garcia 2nd. Giafoni 3rd. Corey 4th. Hudson Schwartz up to 5th. Schwartz started 15th. Plus 10 for Schwartz. Cox ends up in 6th. Golan 7th. Papasavas in 8th. Brienza 9th. And Lucas Facuri rounding out the top 10. I don't know, John. That was a wild one. I'll say this. Max Taylor, another victory. 3 on the season, back-to-back, as he won at Road America as well in the second race there. Big for him. But Max Garcia got sent to the back after a spin in an early yellow to be able to come back up to second.
Yeah.
If he ends up winning the championship, he'll look back at this and go, man, that may have been my best drive of the year.
You bet. No question at all. And, Max Taylor set the fastest lap on the last lap. So he did what he needed to do to keep Garcia behind him, because I'm sure he thought, just as we did, that he's got trouble with Max Garcia behind him, and he did a great job holding him off.
And I don't think it's raining right now. Looking down at that puddle you and I have been looking at, I don't think it's raining right now for sure.
And the skies off to the west where the rain comes from looking kind of blue.
So here, John, update from race control, getting the call here from our production as well, being told that we will not be doing the podium right now for USF 2000. Thinking about rain, thinking about the light, we're going to go right into USF Juniors. So that is kind of the move here right now. The podium will be handled afterwards, but there is your unofficial results. Max Taylor getting the win. Max Garcia in 2nd. Nicholas Giafoni 3rd. Sam Corey in 4th. Hudson Schwartz rounding out the top 5. Elliot Cox, a good fight back up after incident responsibility. Put him to the tail of the field with his contact with Thomas Schrag. He gets up to 6th. Brady Golan goes 7th. Evagoras Papasavas in 8th. Joey Brienza 9th. And Lucas Facuri rounding out the top 10. 11th place goes to Maxwell Jameson. 12th rather for Giovanni Cabrera, who started down in 18th, plus 6 for Cabrera. Thomas Schrag, the first driver, 1 lap down in 13th. Carson Etter, 14th. Ayrton Hauk, 15th. Jace Bacon, Michael Costello, and, of course, Quinn Armstrong after the opening lap contact with a spinning, pole-sitting Evagoras Papasavas put him to the tail of the field. They'll have to come back and do it all again tomorrow. 2 races for USF 2000 tomorrow as well. Race 2 at 105. Pardon me. 1 tomorrow for USF 2000, and then they race as well on Sunday morning. So 1 Friday, 1 Saturday, 1 Sunday. Max Taylor out of the car, and this is big for this young kid here, running both USF Juniors and USF 2000 this year. The victories for him, pumped for sure. Big one for Max Taylor, and it's going to put, again, he closes up a bit on Max Garcia. He was back significantly, though, almost 60 points. He'll cut in a little bit for Garcia, though. Even with that second, he pulls away from Corey, he pulls away from Papasavas. That was a big, big result, I think, for Garcia.
Agreed.
So, indeed, podium for this race is going to be sent to after. We'll do back-to-back podiums, USF 2000 and Juniors. So that means we are getting set here to roll in with USF Juniors and their first race. This race, of course, was supposed to go at 105. It got moved for track repair. So we got ourselves 23 drivers on the grid getting set to go here right now, which is solid, ready to rock on that. And, again, John, I think this is going to be a good one here as well. The Juniors are very strong this year. Did they have cameras in front of them? Were they watching the phones? Did they see the chaos that we had out there? Did they learn anything from USF 2000? I don't know.
I hope so.
I hope they come out here and show up the 2000 guys.
Because they did earlier.
They did.
Yeah, they ran clean and green all through qualifying, and none of the other 2 classes were able to get that done. So perhaps they can show their next step up drivers that they know how to get this done. So, yeah.
So, indeed, wet tires declared for USF Juniors.
That was going to be my next question.
So, how are we going to start?
Gamble on dry tires?
Yeah. So, indeed, with the rain gone for now, it's not raining whatsoever. The track is still wet. So, this is one of those ones where you never know. This isn't a super long racetrack, right? So, do you come in and try to change the dries midway through? If it happens on a yellow, do you do it if you're further back in the pack? This will be interesting for potentially seeing a juniors team go to dries sometime during the race. We'll see if it plays out. I don't know how they're going to play it at this point here, but again, the field getting set to go on track. Folks, stay with us here right now. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll go through the lineup for USF Juniors.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
And ladies and gentlemen, back at it with the cars rolling out onto pit lane here as we get set to roll into USF Juniors. Their first of 2 races here, one today, one tomorrow. And the juniors drivers getting ready to roll again, 23 strong. And let's start at the tail of the field. First time he's raced here, a debut weekend for JT Hoskins in the number 6 machine, starting 23rd for Jay Howard Driver Development. That moves us to row 11 with Michael Succo out of Birmingham, Alabama, the rookie for VRD Racing in the number 10, starting 22nd. Alongside him, Diego Guillo out of Texas for Zanella Racing in the number 12. Row number 10, starting 20th, Hudson Potter for Jay Howard Driver Development in the number 4. And on the inside out of Brazil, João Vergara for Exclusive Autosport in the number 90. Up to row number 9, Evan Cooley in the number 91 for Exclusive Autosport. He'll start on the outside of row number 9, 18th, alongside Rodrigo Gonzalez for the D-Force Driver Development Program. Gonzalez in the number 20. His brother Patricio will start a row up on the outside of row 8 in the number 19, again for D-Force Driver Development. Alongside him, 3-time winner last year, 6th place in points right now, Jack Jeffers for Exclusive Autosport in the number 92. Row 7, Joshua Leonel, 2 times a runner-up finisher in the Skip Barber Formula Race Series, now running with Skip Barber backing in this USF Juniors program. The D-Force Racing driver out of Texas in the number 15. Alongside him, Californian Timothy Carell for Jay Howard Driver Development in the number 8. Row 6 has Leandro Juncos in the number 17 for D-Force Racing. The rookie Juncos starting 12th alongside Brady Golan, out of one car into the other. Golan running both races this weekend. He is jumped now behind the wheel of his number 18 USF Juniors car. Into the top 10 now, the number 55, Leonardo Scorpioni for Zanella Racing on the podium at VIR. He'll start on the outside of row number 5 today, alongside another driver who's on the podium at VIR, G3 Argyros out of California in the number 63. Row 4 has another Jay Howard Driver Development pilot, Aiden Ingrata, the Canadian, in the number 7, starting 8th. Alongside him, Christian Cameron out of Northern California in the number 70 for VRD Racing. Up now to row number 6. Again, right out of this car, right into the other car. He just won in USF 2000. What can he do here in USF Juniors? That is Max Taylor in the 33. Celebrated the win and then jumped behind the wheel of his USF Juniors car, going back-to-back here for Max Taylor. Got to keep that focus for sure. He'll start alongside Bruno Ribeiro, the Brazilian for D-Force Racing in the number 16. Ribeiro, very impressive young driver, starting P5, looking for that first win. Ribeiro rolling off from the inside of row 3. Row 2 will be Sebastian Weldon, your current point leader, 1 point ahead of Max Taylor. He will again start on the outside of row number 2 in that number 98 machine for VRD Racing. Inside, a winner from VIR, Augusto Soto Sharipa for Inter MS in the number 24. 23 drivers in the field, but 2 on the front row. Off pole from Israel in the number 25, international level kart racer who has already won here. 2 victories at Barber Motorsports Park for Ariel Elkin in the number 25, the Inter MS driver starting on the outside of the front row. But the driver has already bagged a bonus point here, Liam McNeely in the number 9, a winner earlier in the year at NOLA Motorsports Park. The British driver for Jay Howard Driver Development rolling off from P1. And looking for a big win here. There is McNeely. He'll start alongside Elkin, Soto Sharipa and Weldon, row 2, Ribeiro and Taylor, row 3, Cameron and Ingrata on row 4, Argyros alongside Scorpioni on row 5, Golan and Juncos, row 6, Carell and Leonel, row 7, Jefferson Gonzalez, row 8, Gonzalez and Cooley, row 9, Vergara and Potter, row 10, Guio and Suko, row 11, and Hoskins on row number 12. There you have it. Cloudy skies, dark skies in the back. We do not have any rain right now. John, looking at the front straightaway, we got some dry line coming in. This is going to be a very interesting race, and we're likely, unless we have more wet, going to have some absolutely trashed Continentals when this is all said and done.
And Max Taylor's got to be the man with the advantage. I mean, starting as far up in the field as he is, and he's got, obviously all of the knowledge that none of these other drivers do.
True.
And he's gonna know where the places are. Definitely going to be one to watch here.
Got to react to the cars, though. The car difference, right?
Yep, of course.
Little bit less horsepower. Same aerodynamics, a little bit less horsepower, different braking package, right?
Yeah,
so it's going to be a little bit different. It doesn't brake quite as well, but it's also not carry as much speed in. So it's almost a shorter braking as opposed to the longer braking of the 2000 car because it doesn't have the horsepower. The trap speed coming down to the straightaway is not quite as good. But again, like I said, both he and Golan had a chance to drive already. Now they put their heads down. And this is the one he's really in the championship battle in, right? He's still in the championship battle in USF 2000, but he wants that USF Juniors title as well. We'll see how it plays out here as he gets ready to roll on track. Again, Max Taylor starting back there, P6. He started 7th in USF 2000, so he could be lining up for another victory. What a day that would be for Max Taylor if he's able to get 2 wins.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, he got a little extra cardio. He and VRD team principal Dan Mitchell walked all the way down to the false grid just as the cars were released and walk all the way back to change cars. So you got a little extra cardio this uphill pit lane here at Mid-Ohio.
Indeed. So we'll get set to get things underway here. Liam McNeely again, starting from the pole position in the championship fight, most certainly for McNeely, a driver we expect to, of course, scrap it out. In wet weather conditions, you don't want to kind of lean towards the fact that drivers from England are usually good in the wet, but drivers from England
are usually pretty
good in the wet. So they get a chance to run even all the way through karting, right?
Yeah.
They get a lot of chance to be in wet weather racing. How many times have you watched Team USA and the scholarship drivers go over to the Formula Ford Festival and the Walter Hayes Trophy, and it rains? You know, it's always rain. It does rain quite a bit over there, so they're used to driving in the wet, and this will be a potential benefit, except for the fact that you can see it now on the screen, how this track is drying up already. Again, I wonder whether or not, I'm kind of look down to see if anybody's got their dry tires out potentially for a change. Indeed, we do. Yeah, have a look down here. D-Force has tires out. Zanella Racing has tires out. We could get to a point here, and it'll be on the fly. Our teams don't change tires.
Sure.
This isn't going to be an IndyCar stop.
Right.
This is going to be X amount of drivers over the wall.
Yep.
They'll do the rears first, then the fronts, and then get out there. So it's going to take a certain amount of time. This could be very, very interesting when it comes to seeing how things play out.
Yeah, that's the crapshoot that the teams are going to take. If they're going to take this opportunity to change a tire, it's going to take a lot of time. And they could go a lap down.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. That's a gamble I'm not sure I would take.
On a larger track, right?
Yep.
Like Indianapolis.
If this were at Road America.
BIR, Road America.
It'd be a no-brainer. But here, I don't know. That's going to be a tough. That's going to be a tough gamble.
It is. It is 100% going to be tough. You do it on a yellow. I don't know. Again, so we'll see how it all plays out. Another lap around here for these guys. We're going to get things underway. While we have the lap around here real quick, let's have a look at the top 5 in points right now. Sebastian Weldon, folks, is your point leader, coming in 163 points. A couple of DNFs at VIR have put him only 1 point ahead of Max Taylor, who had a first and a third and a fifth. Three top 5s at VIR have put Max Taylor just 1 point behind Weldon. Ariel Elkin, of course, second in points, third in points, rather. Not that far back. Fourth is Liam McNeely. Fifth is Augusto Soto Sharipa. The track map here at Mid-Ohio, as we know, an incredible racetrack. Turn 1, we saw it during the USF 2000 race, a very quick left-hander. They run up a little bit up the hill into the famed keyhole, downhill, off-camber, right-hander. Big run down through kind of a kink, turn 3 down to turn number 4, downhill braking right-hander. You can run the inside, you can run the outside, climbing back up the hill over turn number 5. A fantastic corner that drops away to turn 6. 6 really sets everything up for the back part of the racetrack. You got to get through 6 cleanly on the power. Up over turn number 7, Madness through 8. Turn 9 is the drop down into Thunder Valley, which is such a tough corner. Through turn 9 as they're coming right now here through turns number 4 and 5. Again, up out of Thunder Valley through 10, 11, and 12, and then the carousel. And then, of course, on to the front straightaway. That is a lap around the track here at Mid-Ohio. You see the drivers circulating away through that 4-5 combination. You don't really see it the way the camera is here. It feels like they're going all downhill, but you do climb back up into turn number 5.
Right.
You can definitely see that from the camera here on the outside. You're climbing back up, and then, of course, getting the car to rotate, John, and back down into turn number 6.
I see the teams laid out, and some of these, the time to take the gamble is right away. So basically, when the track goes green, as they're coming to the line, somebody might gamble, dive off into the pit lane on the first lap, try to get those tires changed and get back out before the rest of the field can get around.
And have a look down here. I think that maybe the D-Force team may be thinking about doing that right now. I'm trying to look up that, see who else could do that, because, again, do it right now.
Yep.
Get it done. If there's a yellow, if there's an incident on the opening lap, you're fine, right?
You're golden.
You're golden.
Yeah.
So, again, drivers coming around to get this thing underway, folks, as we get set to go. How's it going to all play out here? 20-lapper for drivers in USF Juniors. Liam McNeely on the inside. Ariel Elkin on the outside. What's it going to be like in terms of aggression in the opening couple of corners? Look at the grip down the bottom of the racetrack. They're going to have to try to cool these tires down. Let's see what happens on the opening circuit. Nobody coming in immediately. Jack Jeffers pulling to the outside there. They'll work their way down. They're going to be 3, almost 4 wide down into turn number 1 for the first time. McNeely's going to hold them through. Remember, these tires, these wet weather tires, are not going to hold perfectly. They're going to be very tough. Drivers are going to try to find some wet to see if they can't keep them cool, because they're not going to last long. Who is going to come to pit lane first? Right now, McNeely holding it through. Down the inside comes one of the Inter-MS cars. I think that was Soto Sharipa trying to find a way by Weldon. Weldon's lost a couple of spots. Everybody on the racetrack so far. One driver dropping a wheel coming out of turn number 2. And here's the run down the straightaway. A lot wetter down there as they come down out of turn number 2 to the bottom part of the racetrack. You don't see a lot of dry line there through the middle. In fact, we still see quite a bit of mist at the kink of turn number 3. Another big dive bomb move further back. A driver going to the bottom of the racetrack. I think that might have been Aiden and Grata. They'll work their way again out of turn number 4 through turn number 5, back up the hill. Couple of spots, I think, there for Jack Jeffers. He got aggressive on the opening circuit. There's no doubt about that. They'll work their way back down in here through turn 6 and 7. Over to 8. A little short shoot. Straighten the car out. Back over turn number 9. A sweeping corner that, again, comes over top of the hill. Oh, and McNeely almost loses it. Ribeiro almost drops a wheel. Over the puddle coming out of that corner that collects and pools all on the exit curbing on turn number 9. Through the top of the hill here again. Blind corner coming up and over top. This is going to be the opening lap in the books. These drivers have done a good job so far on the opening lap. But again, does anybody head to pit lane?
One driver has come in.
Again, we do have one driver coming into pit lane. Not quite sure which that was. We'll try to pick that up when they come in here, John. I think coming in is going to be the 63 G3 Argyros. The Jay Howard car bringing Argyros in first to put dries on. Is that the right call? Is it a dry enough track? I don't know. Right now, McNeely, though, out to the lead. Elkin second. Ribeiro, Taylor, Weldon, your top 5. Soto Sharipa in 6th. Goal in 7th. 8th is Cameron. 9th, Ingrata. And 10th is Timothy Carell. Couple drivers going off. Dropping the wheel. Oh, there's full 4 wheels off. Someone cutting some grass further back. But everybody digging in here, John, the opening couple laps. I'll tell you, a lot of racing, but the drivers giving themselves enough room right now.
I tell you what, these youngsters are showing up their teammates on the USF 2000 championship as these juniors doing a great job minding their P's and Q's, getting around here for a couple green flag laps.
Remember, G3 Argyros just hoping for some kind of contact right now. Can I please get a yellow? Can a couple of these guys get together while I'm on pit lane and getting it done? Further back, you see these drivers digging in, trying to find everything they can. When a driver goes high, they're going low, and vice versa. G3 Argyros back out onto the racetrack. John, give me a little point here. They have changed the tires. He is back on track, and he is not going to lose a lap. This is going to be really interesting to watch. One team has rolled the dice so far. Jay Howard with Argyros. Is it going to pay off? This is when John and I start looking at lap times. We're going to be seeing the lap times. Where are they for Argyros? Oh, 3 wide, come over the top of the hill. Wow, they both just split. That was close. Man. Drivers giving each other room here. They were read the riot act at VIR. The same thing happened to the drivers meeting to start this weekend off as well. Being told to start potentially under review. Not sure what happened there, but otherwise we've got 3 green flag laps in of 20. McNeely, Elkin, Weldon up to 3rd. He was able to get by Taylor there. That's that battle right there. Weldon, Ribeiro, I believe, able to get by Taylor as well. So there's a couple of drivers on the move here now. We got ourselves a good scrap behind Liam McNeely, who's leading the way. We will look at lap times for G3 Argyros. Quickest lap time so far, 1:34.6. We'll give Argyros a chance to get a couple laps and build some heat into these tires, John, as they work their way again down the back straight, right in front of you, Tom Michaels.
And coming by us right here, there's McNeely. Sebastian Weldon, who dropped back a little bit at the start of this race. He's back up there in the 2nd place, but he's got a long distance to go to get to McNeely.
Yeah, McNeely now got about 10 to 15 car lengths over Ariel Elkin, but then it's about the same back to the 3rd place running Sebastian Weldon, who's got a little pressure. Actually, it backs off now, but looking at that battle for about 6th through 10th further back, we're running Brady Golan is leading a big field.
Yeah, indeed. They see them coming out 2 wide out of Thunder Valley. Those 2 D-Force drivers side by side. Being told potentially the 24 of Augusto Soto Sharipa off the racetrack. Potentially a call in from one of our spotters there. We'll keep an eye on Soto Sharipa indeed going off over in turn number 9. So potentially what we saw to Liam Skeets earlier today where he went off there, dropped a wheel, and came back on. Soto Sharipa was running up in the top 5, so tough for him there. Coming off a win at VIR and, of course, an issue with the rollover. The number 15 is into pit lane here as well. That's Joshua Leonel, as is the number 19 coming in, Patricio Gonzalez. We have a couple of drivers coming in to go to dry tires. Let's have a look at the replay of what happened to Soto Sharipa, the Inter-MS car. and his off-track excursion that was called in by Steve Connolly. Here he is coming through, and again, exactly what we saw with Skeets. You can see Skeets' tracks, and good job for Soto Sharipa. Augie kept the car straight.
Yep.
Get that thing through the gravel, slow it, and then turn it and come around the grass. So although he fell all the way back to 22nd, John, he's not out of the hunt. A yellow brings him right back in it, not in the wall. But this scrap back here, that's Christian Cameron in the number 70. Who else is in this fight here right now? Because they are absolutely going at it. Jack Jeffers, Aiden Ingrata, Rodrigo Gonzalez, Joao Vergara. Oh, there's a driver off. That's the 70 of Christian Cameron. Cameron has gone off the racetrack down in turn number 7. And guess what, folks? This is a dry racetrack. G3 Argiro, a 133.9, 4/10 quicker than Liam McNeely, the leader. So yellow flag has come out. A number of drivers into pit lane already to get dries. And with this yellow,
everybody's going to come in.
Everybody's likely going to come in here. Full course yellow right now. And how many guys are in? Weldon's into pit lane. Taylor's into pit lane. Who else do we have coming down pit lane? Whole field coming in. Ribeiro, Jeffers, the 18 as well of Brady Golan. The whole field's coming into pit lane, and I think if it all plays out well, G3 Argyros might come out here as the leader of this race.
Yep.
Because he's going to come back around here. So we'll play this out. But we do have a replay of the incident with Christian Cameron, I believe, coming down the hill into turn number 6. You can see those drivers were really going at it elbows up. So here they are coming down the hill. This is this battle we followed quite a bit. Around the corner. Does he just get too deep? No, he actually gets hit. Oh, left rear damage. That was the number 7 of Aiden Ingrata, who I think, John, likely on the inside of the racetrack here, if we'll go back and watch a little of that, I think he just kind of got down to the right side of the track where it's still pretty wet.
I think he was looking to cool off his tires, but then he discovered he couldn't stop.
Not going to happen there where you're into the braking zone. So I think, indeed, it was Ingrata to the inside of the racetrack, got it pushed straight into the side of Christian Cameron, who will not be back. I thought it might have been just front damage, but no, that right rear took a hit as for sure. Everybody into pit lane right now. So we have ourselves a crazy act. There's a number of drivers who haven't came back out yet. D-Force does a good job with the number 20 getting Gonzalez back out. Jeffers back out as well. Trying to get these tires changed. This is tough. Everybody going to work trying to get their cars done. It's almost an issue if you don't have enough crew down here to really rock it out as well. We're going to see how it all plays out when they come back around. The 12 of Guio is in here as well. More D-Force drivers heading back out on track. So this is going to be interesting how it all plays out. Once they get the car of Christian Cameron out, we're going to go racing. But at this point here, this is going to be something we're going to see how it all shakes out. Argyros is, I believe, going to be the leader, or did McNeely stay on the track? I think McNeely and Elkin may have stayed on the racetrack. I think the first driver into pit lane was Sebastian Weldon. He was P3, John.
Yep, and here comes McNeely now.
Oh, so McNeely's literally going to watch this lead gone. They didn't come to pit lane quick enough.
That's going to put Weldon at the front.
Well, that's Elkin. No, it's going to put
Elkin at the front. And he's still on wets, I'm pretty sure.
He is on wets. And then it's the number 4 behind them, which is Hudson Potter, JT Hoskins.
Still on wets.
On wets. I don't know how this is going to play out. This is going to be interesting to watch how this all plays out. G3 Argyros 8th, but remember, a couple of these guys crossed the line in pit lane.
Yeah.
So we're going to need one more lap to see how it all plays out here. Elkin's going to be on wets. Unless they think there's going to be another cell coming in.
Yep.
That maybe was not the call. Man. This is the kind of strategy race I love to see happen because you got to be quick thinking on pit lane. You got to be on the radio. That was a fantastic call for VRD, of course, to bring in Weldon so early.
Yep.
Being told we might have had to spin here, John. Let's figure out. We had a spin on track. Let's have that replay to find out what happened. We didn't see it, so we're going to have a look at it here. So driver off the racetrack, coming down the hill. So somebody got a little wide coming on top of the hill here. Not quite sure which driver that is at this point. Looping it around. That might be Joao Vergara, who I think on fresh tires went around. He loops it in front again, up to the top of the hill. He may have had the new tires on.
Yep.
I can't see quite if those are slicks or not. So he went around. And again, that's the issue when you roll out here on brand new slick tires. No heat in them whatsoever.
Right.
You can't swerve back and forth because otherwise you're going to get into the wet.
And if you get a little offline, you're in the wet.
That's what we saw, right?
That's what happened because you can see the dampness.
Yep. And that's where Ingrata came down through that dampness on driver's right and got into there and really tried to get on the brakes and then plowed straight into the side of Christian Cameron. So Cameron's out of the race now. Ariel Elkin is still your leader. Weldon and Argyros, I think, are the two drivers in the hot seat right now. They are 7th and 8th on dries.
Yep.
And I think Max Taylor on dries, Rodriguez on dries, Jefferson Ribeiro on dries as well. So you're looking at 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, all on dry tires. The top 6, Elkin, Potter, Hoskins, McNeely, Ingrata, and Carell, are on wets. 6 laps in. They'll go 7 laps when we come back around here. We were able to see the car of Christian Cameron getting taken behind the wall. So I think we're going to go back to green here. It'll be 8 when we come back around with 12 to go.
And we got one more car coming in late for tires.
We got the 33 of Taylor back into pit lane. I wonder what the reason why. Is he going to the crew? Being told again the start is under review. I did hear that. Taylor back to the crew. Not sure why he's into pit lane at this point.
Because he came in to change, right?
He did come in to change. He's got dries on. So
and they sent him right back out. So it was very quick, whatever they did. So.
Was it a stop and go that we don't know about? I don't know about any contact on track that could have been a penalty for him. So that drops Max Taylor down a bit. As it looks, 17 drivers on the lead lap right now, 7 laps down. Ingrata, Suko, Patricio Gonzalez, and Joshua Leonel, and Joao Vergara. 6 laps complete. More coming around the track here right now. I think that might be Michael Suko. Yep, he's going to get on the lead lap still. How many drivers still on track? They're still coming around having just put tires on.
Yep. So right now we've got 18 cars on the lead lap, and I think we're going to have more here.
I agree with you. I think there's more drivers coming around here still to get that lap in. Yeah, here comes the number 7. That's Aiden Ingrata.
Right.
So no damage to Ingrata after the contact that he had with Christian Cameron. He puts lap 7 in. I don't know about Gonzalez or Leonel.
They were pitted right here below us, and the crew was split between the two cars, and they were having to jump back and forth, so that slowed both of them down, making the pit stop.
Yeah, again, like we said, we don't have a full complement of three people per car, so the team's having to use different cars. That's why you bring somebody in early. Lights out on the pace car, guys. We're going to go lap 8 when we get across the line here right now. It's a scheduled 20 laps, still 24 minutes. These drivers did a great job over the opening couple of circuits. A big call to bring G3 Argyros in early. He probably needed maybe a couple of laps for him. He could have got things going a little bit, but that yellow brought everybody back to pit lane. Had it not been for that incident, I think he may have got a chance to cycle a little bit more before they decided to bring everybody in. But on that yellow, first and second stayed on the racetrack, and it's hurt Liam McNeely for sure. He's down to 13th position, not coming in early. We're back to green flag racing, and it's the 19 up front right now coming across the line. We said he was a lap down. That's Patricio Gonzalez. More drivers coming into pit lane right now. Soto Sharif into pit lane. The 90 as well. Joao Vergara into pit lane. Not sure why Vergara's coming in. Maybe damage from that spin, but he's coming to pit lane.
Ariel Elkin was down the pit lane because he's one of the ones that stayed out on wets.
Yeah, so he has come in. So they're going to be banking on another yellow for sure to try to get themselves back forward. So Elkin into pit lane. Yeah, again, this is one of those time deals where if you bring your driver in at just the right time, you're going to benefit from it. A really early call for G3 Argyros. He is up into second place, essentially second. JT Hoskins has come across the line as the leader at this point here, but I don't know. It's Weldon, I believe, the leader up front. The driver who came across the line first was the 19 of Patricio Gonzalez. They've got him as being a lap down. I don't know that he is. So Gonzalez may be the leader at this point. A driver has gone off. One driver dropping a wheel. I think that might have been Hoskins in the number 6 machine. Indeed, dropped the wheel coming out of turn number 5. So the driver who had the lead early there, at least on live timing, has fallen back a couple of spots. There it is. There's Gonzalez leading the way right now. Behind him is the 15, I believe, of Joshua Leonel. Those are the two drivers I talked about. Leonel's going to go to the outside. Live timing is not showing them as the leaders, but they did take the green for the first time. I don't know that they're lap back and in front. That doesn't make any sense to me. But as they work their way back out, live timing just not maybe giving us exactly what we need. Lionel is the leader. Argyros has been able to get by the 98 of Weldon. Argyros trying to look to the inside now of Gonzalez through turn number 1. Had to check up a little bit. So we are dry racing now after a wet USF 2000 race. Early call for Jay Howard's team to bring Argyros into pit lane because he come away with a victory. Weldon trying the outside. Remember, Argyros had a lap to get some more heat into those tires. If not even just the heat, to get the scuff off the tires as well, potentially. Argyros now your leader. There we go. So things have lined up a little bit here. Lionel and Gonzalez, they're not really a lap back now. They're on the lead lap, but they're in the front.
They're at the tail end of the lead lap.
Exactly.
Yep.
But they're going to lose some spots. Argyros going down to the inside. He better watch out. He is the leader right now. Argyros doesn't want to lose this. Lionel, he's waiting for a yellow. If he gets a yellow, he goes back around, and he'll go P1. Argyros trying to hold off the charge here from Sebastian Weldon. Weldon has to think championship now as well. Max Taylor, the driver he's battling with now, back in 11th position, so you have to be smart.
Trouble, turn number 9, 2 cars around. It's the 98, got up over a wheel, jumped the wheel of the 16 as they came into turn number 9.
That's Ribeiro and Weldon.
Indeed.
Weldon was on the inside and jumped up over, Ribeiro jumped up over the wheel, and it looks like Ribeiro is stuck in the gravel.
Steve, I think that's actually
Weldon.
Weldon. I think that's Weldon, yeah. Ribeiro was able to continue and come down into Thunder Valley, and it looks to me, I think you're right, that the spin happened there, and he is stuck in the gravel trap. Your point leader, I just said he needs to be careful.
Yep.
Take care of it. You have a lead. The guy behind you in the points by 1 is in 11th. But a battle between, I think, Ribeiro's looking for that first race win. I think that's the key.
Yep.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to get a replay. If we don't, Steve, let's come to you right now. We'll see if we get a replay. But what were your thoughts? Did you watch that whole thing play out?
Yeah, I did. It looked like it may have been Weldon that dove to the inside. It was a late braking move where he got down to the inside and just slid right out across the racetrack. They caught wheels. Looked like Weldon got up in the air, came back down, spun around, did a 360 into the gravel, and then Ribeiro was able to keep going. But it was just a late move into turn 9.
Again, we really try to strive patience for these young drivers.
Sure.
Especially when you're up front in the points championship, right? Do you need these wins? You really want these wins, but do you need these wins? Again, I keep saying a track like Mid-Ohio, if it goes green for 4, 5, 6 laps, the field separates so much because it's a driver's racetrack.
Yep.
You don't benefit from the draft to bring you back in if you have a slower car. Everybody's working. The brake zones are so tough here. You have to be so precise. If you just give it a couple laps of green, things will spread out, and then you can go to work. And again, just a little impatience. We weren't sure what happened there. Of course, Steve gave us what he saw looking down right in front of him, the accident that happened over in turn number 9. But that's a big hit right now to Sebastian Weldon. It's massive for G3 Argyros. And look who ends up in second. Augusto Soto Sharipa runs second, and Rodrigo Gonzalez in third. And there you have it, folks. He is still there. Sebastian Weldon. 2 DNFs and a win at VIR. He's going to start off this weekend here with a DNF as well. And for everybody behind him, Max Taylor, Ariel Elkin, Liam McNeely, Augusto Soto Sharipa, and Jack Jeffers, the drivers I believe that are still mathematically really in the championship, they're all going to benefit. Jack Jeffers up to 4th position. He started 15th. He has done such a good job staying out of trouble.
Yep.
His team, Exclusive Ossport, getting both he and Evan Cooley now into 5th as well. Cooley started even further back in 18th. He's up into 5th spot as well. So a number of drivers benefiting from the issues we've had on the track. We're at the halfway point by that now as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Gonzalez really doing great. I mean, up into 3rd overall. He's way down in the points because, he and Patricio haven't, really had great success all season long. He's in a position to get on a podium here.
For Rodrigo, again, part of the driver development team for D-Force Racing, coming out of Mexican karting up into the program here. It's focused on lap time, focused on track time. They have had some issues on track. They've been involved in a couple of incidents. They've been off track here and there. You'd want them to kind of back things down to 90% to get the lap times they wanted, but they made a great call bringing him in at the right time. He was one of the early takers to pit lane. With the crews actually right down in front of us here, they got the pit stop done so quickly, sent him back out. They were high-fiving each other.
Yep.
They know what they just did. They know they made a great call. They got him in early and a fantastic pit stop. So he runs around here now in the the third spot. Jack Jefferson fourth, Evan Cooley in fifth. Sixth right now is Leonardo Scorpioni. Seventh is Leandro Juncos. Eighth is Max Taylor. Ninth is Brady Golan. 10th is Timothy Carell. And there it is right there. There is the number 98 Gamebridge VRD machine of Sebastian Weldon. A tear to start the season. 3 podiums, 2 wins at NOLA. At Barber, a second-place finish, and a 6th to start it off. VIR, DNF race 1, DNF race 2, and then was able to get a win in a photo finish in race number 3. It's been ups and downs after a tremendous start, and sometimes it's just pushing so hard, right? You're trying to win every race you're in, right? And because drivers will tell you, and I hear this all the time. I'll ask them, Are you in the championship? Are you in championship mode? Are you thinking about points? And they all say early in the season, I'm just going to win races and I'll let the championship
fall where it comes.
Handle itself. Yeah. Well, then the end of the season, like, well, maybe I shouldn't have went for that move when I was running second. Oh, if I hadn't wrecked, that's the deal there. It's if you would have got a couple of those races back where you threw away guaranteed seconds or thirds.
Sure.
Instead of that DNF, we wouldn't be in a conversation at the end of the thing. You'd be ahead by 20 or 30 points. It's a mindset that I always go back to Scott Dixon, right? Because Scott Dixon, he's that perfect example of a guy that if he doesn't have a winning car, he's going to be 4th, 5th, or 6th.
And he's happy with that.
If he's got a 7th place car, he's going to be 6th. Here's 5th. He'll take it to that place.
Yep.
Let's go back to Steve in turn number 9. What do you got over there?
Well, it was they pulled Weldon out of the sand, and as he started to turn around, he drove right back into it, and now he is out of the car. He's into the truck, and they are bringing another hook to lift him out of the sand. But they were looking at the right rear tire, and that rear axle looks like something is broken there, and told him to climb out of the car.
Oh, man. So if it's the right rear on Weldon, he was on the outside very likely, so potentially it was Ribeiro to the inside in terms of the contact. If indeed that happened, obviously not able to give you a replay of that one. Steve did his best to account what he saw from his position over in turn number 9, but that has shaken things up. G3 Argyros, that great call for the Jay Howard crew.
First one in.
Yeah, and in maybe questionable conditions, right? Because it wasn't dry enough. I don't know. We've had time for to dry up, a little breeze that we have here, no rain. But the bottom line is when we go back to green, it's going to be a couple laps. G3 Argyros is going to be the leader. Augusto Soto Sharipa, who won at VIR and was upside down, well, let's just say barrel rolled in race number 3. He's second. Rodrigo Gonzalez for D-Force Driver Development. That squad is third. Jack Jeffers is fourth. Evan Cooley is fifth. Sixth is a Scorpioni. Seventh is Juncos. Eighth is Taylor. Ninth, Golan. And 10th is Timothy Carell. I would keep an eye on Liam McNeely in the number 9. Again, already knowing that Weldon down in 22nd, McNeely is going to be able to make up time. Everybody behind him is making up time on the point leader. That said, Max Taylor's not that far back either. He will likely take over the point lead here, depending on what we have if another driver has a big run. But very likely you'll see Taylor take over the point lead. There's the car. The number 98, hard to see the damage on that car coming through very quickly. But that's it for Weldon. 3 DNFs in the last 4 races for the young Floridian. Needs to stay on the racetrack, that's for sure. The rest of the drivers coming back around. As we know, the lights are out of the pace car. I love it. They were going to be able to get that car back. The scene turn 9 cleaned up. And Argyros is going to lead them to the green flag for the first time in his USF Juniors career. He'll be the driver that leads them down into turn number 1. Soto Sharipa will be aggressive for sure to try to find a way by on the opening lap. They'll put 13 laps in the book, still 13 minutes to go, 7 laps remaining. Ideally, the track now fairly dry. Everybody on the slick tires is kind of all settled in. All that craziness we had with the pit stops, it's all kind of played out now. You are where you are. You have what you have. Do the best you can with the package and position you've been given. There are drivers who are potentially ready to leverage this race to get much better results than they may have got based on qualifying. But it's time to go at it here with G3 Argyros. The Jay Howard driver development car out and into the lead early, but a big jump here for the 24 of Augusto Soto Sharipa. Down to the inside goes Argyros. Look at Soto Sharipa. Little tuck to the outside there. Does he get a better run down into the keyhole? In fact, he gets a great run. He's going to come alongside. Argyros side by side with them. I think we're going to see a new leader coming into the braking zone. Yeah, it'll be the 24 down to the bottom of the racetrack. Soto Sharipa will take the lead. Rotates it coming down out of turn number 2. He's back on the throttle. Everybody else behind him knowing that a restart like this, John, is the best opportunity to make overtakes. Argero's going to go back to the outside to see if he can get a run down in to turn number 4. You can see some of the dampness still on the straightaway, especially down the inside. It's going to be tough to make deep moves to the bottom. And indeed, finally, Soto Sharipa able to finish it. Does he hold it on the outside of the corner? Look at the puddles there. You do not want to drop a wheel on the exit of turn number 4 right now. Soto Sharipa, mid-corner, covers off the bottom, coming down into turn number 6. Everybody else settling in, and I believe that's Jack Jeffers, I think, up into P3. Jeffers goes to 3rd. Great opening lap here for the drivers and juniors. They got to get through turn number 9 cleanly. You see a number of drivers thinking about the bottom. I think further back, that could be a battle with a Scorpione trying to find another spot there. He is side by side. Coming back up over the top of the hill, that's Timothy Carell as well, right in there for Jay Howard. Solid opening lap, these drivers with elbows up. Everybody taking different racing lines. Will reset the top 10 when they come back through for you. The leader right now across the line is Soto Sharipa. Argero 2nd. Jack Jeffers goes up into 3rd. Evan Cooley following with his teammate. And Jeffers is going to go to the bottom coming out. He gets a good run out of the corner. Check this out. Jack Jeffers going to the lead in the number 92. They went wide in the corner. Here comes Taylor to the inside as well. Jeffers is going to come down to the bottom. Move to the bottom of the racetrack. Argeros holds on to 2nd. Max Taylor through to 3rd. And all the way on the outside is Evan Cooley, trying to hold on there as well. And a driver almost going around. That, I think, was Gonzalez. He's not going to be, I don't think is going to hold things up. Doesn't look like he's high-centered. He may be able to continue, but Jeffers is taking the lead away from G3 Argeros. Again, down to the bottom. Jeffers holding to the inside of the racetrack. Remember, I told him about how slippery that could be. He's going to get through the corner. Argeros now having to fight as well with the 33 of Max. Look at Taylor coming around the outside. Remember, you talked about it, John.
Yep.
He already knows this racetrack. Taylor going to P2. Love this race right now. And then coming through turn number 6 and 7 once again. Jack Jeffers trying to solidify his position. He's been inside. He's been outside. Doing the things you need to do. Cover off the inside of the track to try to hold on to that lead. He and Taylor now pulling out a little bit here as they come down into Thunder Valley. Back up out into turn number 10 and 11. A great couple of laps here for juniors. It'll be 5 to go when they come back around. Still 10 laps remaining, or 10 minutes remaining. Lots of time on the clock to get the final 5 laps in. And indeed, a new leader in Jack Jeffers. Exclusive Autosport pilot up front. Max Taylor looking to try to take a firm grasp on the point lead. And again, Taylor, this is interesting. He knows his teammate. The leader is out of the race. If he comes home in 2nd here, he's going to have a massive lead. Do you throw it away knowing that Jeffers really wants that first race win? He's going to try to go around the outside into turn number 1. Jeffers on the inside, Taylor on the outside. Rusty Bell will be side by side coming to you.
Side by side down the straightaway right now as the try almost forced him into the grass. Here comes the 33 car. Max Taylor on the inside. He's going to have the line going down into the brakes for the top of 4.
Yep, got the nose in front. Can he hold it? Yes, he does. Up for turn number 5 now. The 92 car there. Jeffers in 2nd place. The 33, Max Taylor's got the lead. All these cars in a freight train over through 8.
A single line up over the hill in turn number 8 down into turn number 9. It is Max Jeffers holding that lead, and he is starting to open it up a little. He gets a little wide over to the rumble strips. Top 3 are single file. They've opened it up by about 2 car lengths over that 4th place running machine.
Drop the air quotes on a little wide. He almost threw it away. Max Taylor did coming over turn number 9. You guys saw it on the broadcast. Really sideways up on the exit curbing there. When that gets damp, that gets wet, the grip is absolutely gone. But Taylor trying to pull away here now in the 33. Argeros right there on the gearbox as Jack Jeffers going to defend down to the inside of the racetrack coming to turn number 1. 4 laps remaining. There goes Taylor out front in the number 33. Again, just finished off a full USF 2000 race. Jeffers keeping it on the bottom, running a defensive line. Here comes the 24, Soto Sharipa back up into the fight. And Cooley as well is there. Cooley right on the gearbox of Argeros. Now, I'll tell you this. You can tell Jeffers would love to see his teammate Evan Cooley get around to try to help defend on that position. He's got himself a handful of Soto Sharipa. Driver on the move, though, the number 9, Liam McNeely, coming back up into 6th. Pole sitter for both races I don't think anybody's going to go quicker than that second fastest lap in qualifying earlier today. So McNeely trying to do all the right stuff right now. He's in the middle of a battle with Leandro Juncos. Yes, Juncos is the inside of turn number 5, but here comes McNeely to the bottom. I think he's going to get Cooley as well. What a beautiful pass for McNeely. Cooley wisely lets him go down to the inside. You don't want to throw things away as Taylor is well out front. Jeffers still holding on to second. And indeed, it may be Augusto Soto Sharipa, who's the big player here for Jack Jeffers, if he puts some pressure on Argyros. That could be the biggest thing here for Jeffers, allowing him to get some leeway here, some breathing room to run those opening laps. Because you know, John, when you're running defensive, you just don't, you're pinching off corners. You're just giving away speed all over the racetrack.
Yeah, GTR Argyros on the last couple of laps has gone right down to the inside of the pit wall, looking for that inside move into turn 1. This time he's going to follow him, stay single file. Let's see how that gives him better exit speed for the run up toward the keel.
Yeah, there it is. You can see how much of a room Jeffers has there. And in fact, Augusto Soto Sharipa now, he's got to battle it out with Liam McNeely. McNeely, the driver on the move. Remember, that's his teammate out front. McNeely for Jay Howard Driver Development. Argyros is his teammate as well. So McNeely's still on the run. I don't know that he is even done with trying to reel in second place. I don't want to say he's got what it takes for the leader, but McNeely, we know, has fantastic speed in the dry, and that's what we're doing here now. That wet weather race we started with, long gone. Full dry conditions. And indeed, look at that move, Argyros. That thing got all kinds of ugly coming down on the braking zone into turn number 4, asking a lot out of it. There's the 91 of Cooley, still fighting it out now. I think Leandro Juncos has been able to get by. Yeah, that's the fight right now. Cooley's going to try the outside of turn number 6. Can he hold it? Because if he does, he'll have the inside of 7. But again, inside 8 will go to Juncos. This is, sketchy coming through. And again, let's see if the driver, Ribeiro, gives room. He does. Ribeiro doesn't pressure it too much on Cooley. He will get the run coming down into Thunder Valley, but back up the hill, Cooley may have just enough to hold it through turn number 11. He does, because right there behind him as well is one of the other Inter-MS cars, Ariel Elkin, back in the fight as well. So this thing has been wild for sure. 3 laps to go this time by. No, make it 2 to go, and there's contact there further back. A couple drivers involved into the barrier, and we have drivers involved. Oh, the number 4 of Hudson Potter with nowhere to go after, I believe it might have been Juncos who spun. Brady Golan maybe. One of the drivers spun. That could be it here right now as we're going to go yellow. I think potentially here is I think Hudson Potter is in the tires over on the inside of the final corner of the racetrack. They're going to let them race as long as they can, as they know, because we're going to come around essentially to the white flag here now. It will very likely be white and checker when we come back around, because when they get full course yellow, it's going to wrap things up. Max Taylor with a lead. Can he go back-to-back here in 2000 and juniors? And again, they'll let them race as long as they can, very likely over into Thunder Valley. As the fight continuing on, there's Jack Jeffers now trying to hold off Liam McNeely. Full course yellow has yet to come out. There's your leader, Taylor. A driver, I believe, off over in turn number 13, Hudson Potter. So the fight is on right now. Jeffers trying to hold them back, coming out of the final couple of corners here. And a full course caution. Lock them down, folks. Max Taylor is going to see the yellow and the white at start-finish.
Which means that's the win. Yeah.
And that will be the victory as that. When they come around, you're going to be able to see the stricken car of Hudson Potter, who had nowhere to go with the driver spinning in front of him. There's Potter right there. So with the white flag flying, that's going to cap things off. And, John, so many storylines. Max Taylor was way back.
Yep.
Jack Jeffers started all the way back in 15th. McNeely was the leader. He ends up going off. Not going off. He got messed up with the change in the tires.
Yep.
He goes back. He ends up third still. But the driver who was the point leader coming in, Sebastian Weldon, finishing 22nd. Max Taylor is going to be your new point leader in USF Juniors.
Absolutely. And Jack Jeffers going to have one of his best finishes on the season. In fact, it is his best finish on the season. So that's going to move him closer to Soto Sharipa. But Sharipa, coming by in 5th isn't going to be that far off, as they were only, 13 points adrift. So Jeffers will get closer to Soto Sharipa, but he won't be able to take over that 5th spot.
So, indeed, the fact that Taylor and Weldon were so close together really doesn't help everybody else. The fact that Taylor won, there's a 1-point difference there. Taylor will go into the lead, but Weldon's going to fall significantly farther back. When you're thinking about Taylor getting at least 30 points, right?
Yep.
For that race win. And, again, all the way down Weldon in his 3rd DNF in the last 4 races, finishing 22nd. second. So nonetheless, good result for Jack Jeffers. Great recovery for Liam McNeely. All told, a good run for G3 Argyros. Another top 5. You look at his line here. He was 4th in race 1 at VIR. He was 3rd in race 2. He actually had a good run, but got penalized in race number 3. This is another solid top 5 for G3 Argyros. He ends up finishing in the 4th position. Augusto Soto Sharipa coming back to P5, something he needed after the DNF in that last race at VIR. Bruno Ribeiro ends up in 6th. Evan Cooley in 7th. Ariel Elkin in 8th. Aiden Ingrata in 9th. And Timothy Carell rounding out the top 10. That race had a lot of everything. At least it had a lot of green flag racing as well. But a lot of excitement. We had some tire changes, John. We had a lot of stuff going on.
I'm thinking Liam McNeely will probably take over for Ariel Elkin for the 2nd overall in the points because he was only 5 points behind him. And McNeely's going to get 3rd place points and Ariel Elkin back in 8th.
3rd place points. Fast lap of the race.
Yep,
pole position. So that's around, I'm going to say off the top
32.
of my head, probably 24 points.
Yeah.
For 22, I think, for the 3rd spot. Then the 2 bonus points. So, yeah, he's going to be in good shape. He will very likely, as you said, take over 3rd spot from Ariel Elkin. Tough one for Hudson Potter. This kid just has not had the luck. His first full season racing here in USF Juniors. That one he had nowhere to go. Came out of the corner. He was fine. Driver spinning in front of him. There's the VRD team coming up. Taylor's like, listen, I just won 2 races, USF 2000 and USF Juniors. Excellent job there for Max Taylor as he gets another win. I'll tell you, Max Taylor from last year and Max Taylor from this year, so different, John. Last year, impatient, overly aggressive.
Yep.
This year, a year older, more patient, more mature, and an understanding that, man, you know what? Again, like we talked about with Scott Dixon, if I don't have the car, I'll bring it home in a good position. You look at his line across as well, right? Nola, 3rd, 6th, 2nd. Didn't have it all at Barber, 8th and 5th. But qualified 12th, finished 8th. Qualified 11th, finished 5th. Moved the car forward. A win at VIR. Qualified 9th for race 2, finished 5th. 8th to 3rd. He just keeps moving forward. And there it is. Max Taylor, new point leader. Jack Jeffers will be very happy. 15th to 2nd for Jack. His 3rd runner-up finish of the year. Still needs that race win to break through. But, again, big for him capitalizing on the situation. Liam McNeely back, as we said, into 3rd spot. G3 Argyros in 4th. Augusto Soto Sharipa rounding out the top 5. Bruno Ribeiro ends up 6th. Evan Cooley 7th. Ariel Elkin 8th. Aiden Ingrata 9th. And Timothy Carell rounding out the top 10. Some exciting racing to cap off the day. This race was supposed to happen at 1:05.
Yep.
Track repairs needed. We push it to the end of the day. We got 2 podiums still to come. But, man, I'll tell you, that's a wild way to go into the second half of the season for USF Juniors.
Indeed, and they showed up their USF 2000
teammates.
Much cleaner race under dodgy, changeable conditions.
Yeah.
Hats off to these kids. They did a great job.
Yeah, and I'm sure that will come out later on when we talk about the fact that the juniors put on a better show than the 2000 cars. But the guy who put on the show, to be honest, as we know, Max Taylor, back-to-back jacks for him. And, in fact, if you think about it, back-to-back jacks, because he won USF 2000 at Road America. Let me go back to my results. He got 1 win as well at VIR. So he won at Road America in USF 2000. He won at VIR. In USF Juniors. He's got 2 wins here. This kid just keeps racking up the wins and getting that momentum and confidence that he needs to keep moving forward. So the bottom line is it's another big win for Max Taylor, and he'll roll his way down. We already saw 1 victory celebration. We may get to see another one as well. But other than that, folks, we are wrapped up here. Of course, we'll head down to Victory Lane to do a couple of podium presentations, both for USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Not sure whether or not we're going to get that on camera. All right, being told we are. That's awesome. So we're going to rock this up. We're going to be able to get this thing done. Folks, we'll wait for these guys to kind of get in here a little bit before we get things underway. But, yeah, here comes Max Taylor. The first one he did was on the track, on the pit lane, because he had to run back down to his car. This one he gets to do proper here in Victory Lane. Max Taylor is going to get out of the car, and, 2, the deuce. Back-to-back jacks for Max Taylor, winner of both USF 2000 and USF Juniors. Jacob Loomis, the team manager for the USF Juniors program. There's Dan Mitchell, the owner of VRD. All pretty pumped. Great job for him. I'm going to leave it to you. I'm going to head down. We'll get some Victory Lane celebrations underway, both USF Juniors and USF 2000. 6 bottles of champagne to spray.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Rob Howden, thanks so much.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And to handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
Wild racing for the day. In USF Juniors, the teams got brought into it for sure, as we know, with some tire changes going from the wets to the dries. So these drivers who victorious here and getting onto the podium in the Tatis Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, well-deserved, their teams as well. Finishing in third spot, folks, from J. Howard Driver Development. Put your hands together for Liam McNeely. Anderson Promotions, Dan Anderson will come up to present our trophies here today, and thankfully the rain has gone away, the sun actually coming out, and a great run there for McNeely, coming home to third spot. And again, it was who came in early. You had to be in the pit lane at the right time, and the teams that called it right, congratulations. Solid run here, folks. Started in 15th spot, ends up in second for Exclusive Autosport. P2 goes to Jack Jeffers. Jack had to work hard to hold on to that position over the last couple laps and was able to come home and rewarded with a strong second-place finish. And as I said before, with the DNF for Sebastian Weld and all these drivers here gaining points, working forward. But today, really this afternoon, all about one driver. Not only did he win USF 2000, walked down to the car, hopped into the juniors, and came out and scored the victory here as well. What a day. I don't think we've ever seen this, folks, in USF Pro Championship / Road to Indy competition. 2 wins on one day. Ladies and gentlemen, for VRD Racing, Max Taylor with the win. Max, stay down here with me real quick. We'll get Dan to bring the trophy in for you. Dan, bring that in. He can hold on to that trophy while we chat. This is called the 2-for-1. You and I'll get out of the way for the photo, and then Max and I can get 2 interviews in one. Dude, I've never seen it before. Congratulations first on USF 2000, but, man, that junior win was wild. That track, the way it changed. Give us some insight from inside the car.
Yeah, I mean, the VRD car was amazing. You know, rain or shine, I'm able to put it on the top step of the podium. That one I definitely had to work harder for with the tire strategy, going dry, We had to pit twice, and I ended up nearly dead last. So I definitely had to work hard for it, but I just kept my head down, kept it smart, and I was able to get to the lead.
Congratulations. You're the new point leader as well. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Max Taylor, folks, a tremendous drive again against all the elements. He was able to work his way forward. What a great drive for him. Of course, he'll be back up here again in USF 2000. We've never had that happen, I think, in the history, the 15-year history of this program, that we've had a driver win in 2 different series like this on a single day. So an incredible run for Max Taylor there, taking full advantage. Again, kudos to his team, VRD Racing. They were able to get the tires changed as well as all the teams did on pit lane. Some of them coming in at the right time. Others maybe hampered by waiting just a little bit to come in. Otherwise, the sun is out, guys. Grip it and rip it, grab it. Let's have some celebration here. They're wearing these suits all weekend long. We know that. So the champagne will spray. And again, 3 very impressive young drivers, folks. Max Taylor with the win, Jack Jefferson second, and Liam McNeely in third. The future of IndyCar is bright with the young drivers here on the opening rung of the USF Pro Championships. They push Max's car out, and they push it right back in, because we're going to go straight into the next podium presentation for USF 2000 as well. Drivers doing a great job. All right, let's press the reset button and do this one again, as we have the drivers here in USF 2000 and all part of this Tatis Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. We'll bring those trophies up and leave them here for the drivers as they work their way up here now. Dane Anderson, of course, helped us pass the first ones out. USF 2000 was a tough race for these drivers, man. The wet weather conditions, it made it super tough. So many drivers having trouble. All the flags that we had, drivers going off track, really kind of messed up the rhythm of the race. But in the end, drivers still had to put the hammer down to see the battle. And we had drivers go backwards and drivers come forwards. So let's get things underway. Finishing in third spot today, a much-needed podium finish for D-Force Racing. P3 goes to Nicholas Schiaffoni. Great run for Nicholas in tough conditions. P3 for him. He'll take those points and move him up in closer to the middle of the top 10. Finishing in second, this driver was up front, and then he spun, had to go to the back. Somehow comes back to second for Pabst Racing, Max Garcia. Finishing in second. I don't think anybody knew how this one was going to play out. We already did the interview with this guy here, so we'll just bring him back up for another trophy, another P1 trophy. Folks, back-to-back Jacks here on a single day on a Friday in Mid-Ohio. The winner for VRD, Max Taylor. So again, we'll get the podium lined up here with Max Taylor getting the victory. Max Garcia extending the point lead as well from P2. And again, Nicholas Schiaffoni, a much-needed podium finish. He likes this racetrack here at Mid-Ohio. Won here en route to a USF Juniors championship last year. And drivers, I'm just going to tell you, whatever you do, don't spray the photographers. Champagne's good. We move the car out of the way, but don't spray the photographers. We'll get a bill for the camera equipment. Send that to you. All right, guys, I think we're good to go. Come out here and grab that champagne. We're going to do it again 3 times all total here for USF 2000 drivers. Oh, Loomis is getting hosed down. Champagne spray flies, and that wraps up the day. 2 events here, USF Juniors and USF 2000. And folks, copy paste on the name. Control P, it is Max Taylor winning both races, USF 2000 and USF Juniors. Back tomorrow for 4 races here. 2 more USF 2000 races. USF Pro 2000 will kick things off at 8:25 tomorrow morning. And, of course, 1 more race as well for USF 2000. 1 tomorrow and 1 on Sunday. Wrapping things up here from Victory Lane, ladies and gentlemen. And it's an American flag for the driver from Hoboken, New Jersey. The winner today in both races, Max Taylor. Folks, thanks for tuning into the broadcast. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.